survive. Yeah, don't be like, we sort of, and then I'm just gonna ask you, to pick it up. Good evening, everyone. This is Gus Sentimentus live with CityExplainer.com. I am here at the Impact Hub on West North Avenue in Baltimore, and I am here with the co-founder and director, Michelle Geiss. Did I say your name correctly?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, great. Michelle, thank you for inviting City Explainer in. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what Impact Hub Baltimore is all about.
Sure. Thanks for being here. Impact Hub is a shared workspace, an event space, and also a community forum for people that are working to move the city forward. People can come and be flexible co-working members here. They can hold events here, and we also do programming like this to just further the conversation about what's happening in the city.
And I know, and there's like temporary daily working space that people can use here for a fee every month. And I think you guys opened up your space for free this month, right?
Yeah, for the last 2 weeks of April, it's free. We know there's a lot going on right now, and people's attention on moving the city forward is really high. So we wanted to make sure that everyone had space if they needed it.
Tell us a little bit about the event tonight. We have Kwame Rose, Devin Allen, and Baltimore Police Commissioner Kevin Davis here. What can you tell us about these speakers tonight?
Well, Kwame Rose and Devin Allen both sort of rose to national attention, really, during the uprising last year. Devin for the photograph that was printed on the cover of Time magazine after going viral, and Kwame Rose for cornering Geraldo and telling him what news coverage really should look like.
Right. That would be Geraldo Rivera, the Fox News broadcaster.
Exactly, right. And so I think both Devin and Kwame were really instrumental in putting Baltimore in charge of its own narrative, and making sure that the voices who are from the city and really know what's going on here were the ones that were featured in at least parts of the national dialogue. So we really admire that work and all the work they've gone on to do since. Devin has been involved in incredible community projects, teaching photography to kids, and Kwame has continued to be involved in police reform and justice and youth advocacy. He's only 21 years old and is like one of the most visionary advocates that I've talked to in a while. A symbol of a lot of the youth leadership that's so strong in the city right now. And they invited in Commissioner Davis to be part of the conversation. So Sonia Sohn from The Wire has been doing a documentary with HBO and following them around, and they felt like this conversation with Commissioner Davis would be a really important kind of chapter in what it is that they're trying to build.
Right, and if I remember correctly, Commissioner Davis was not the police commissioner last year at this time. It was former Commissioner Anthony Batts. And since then, Kwame Rose has been very active in protesting, and he's actually been arrested, I believe, at least once since then. And he's had sort of, confrontations with protesting for the right to protest, really, in a lot of ways. So it's just I think a lot of people are really looking forward to this conversation tonight. And and what really prompted this overall this event to be organized?
Well, our entire month of programming in April was a lot about honoring the people that were the uprising and checking in with them about what the past year has been about for them, where they are now, where they see the city going in the future. And we've loved Devin and Kwame's work and wanted to hear from them and hear, for people who might have, had this sort of small moment of fame in that period, but they've actually gone on to be like incredibly important parts of the dialogue here. And so kind of resurfacing that and making sure everybody knows about that work.
Thanks. And just a quick note for Impact Hub, you guys organize events here every week, right? I mean, almost every week. And there's usually some good stuff happening here. And when there's some really good stuff happening here, I try to jump in and set up my camera live stream, and Michelle humors me, so thank you very much for opening the doors to the community and to my live streaming project. Thank you.
Yeah, and we really appreciate being able to have an audience way beyond who can make it in the moment or who can get to Station North. So thanks for being here.
Great, thanks. Yep. All right, everyone, thank you very much. So we'll go back to the scenes of the room. The event is the formal part of the event is gonna start at around 6:25 with an introduction by Press Adams, who is with Impact Hub, followed by Devin Allen discussing his project Kids Safe Zone. And Devin, if you know him, he shot that iconic photo of a protester running in the streets of Baltimore with a phalanx of Baltimore police officers in riot gear sort of in the background. And it was on the cover of Time magazine. And it was, I hate to use the word iconic, but it's the kind of photo that, just gives me chills, and unfortunately, and will probably be the preeminent photo of the Baltimore uprising for decades to come. I think it's just that incredible, and it's really cool that someone like Devin was able to get that shot, and from in a very in a very competitive media environment, frankly, with so many photographers. I mean, last year Baltimore was on the world stage. There was media here from all over the world, all over the country. And it's just good to have the story of Baltimore told by the people who live here. And I think that's sort of the struggle that we saw emerging last year was a lot of these national journalism operations were parachuting in and doing their thing here. And many of us in the community felt like they weren't properly representing the city and really given a false sense of the depth of the issues that we have here. And, in many cases, I think, myself and many others were watching CNN for days and days, and, there was just, repetitive footage on loop that gave the impression that, as bad as things were and as difficult as things were in Baltimore, it was really sort of amplified to a much higher degree than I think a lot of us felt deserved in the national media. So, and Kwame Rose had this confrontation with Geraldo Rivera last year that was caught by dozens of cameras and people on smartphones, and really laid into him and about Fox News's coverage of what was happening in Baltimore with the uprising and people protesting Freddie Gray's death and his treatment at the hands of police, and really just sort of laying out a pretty, I would just say an oral thesis as to, how Baltimore is filtered through the lens of the national media. So, and Commissioner Davis, he was the deputy commissioner last year during what happened in April a year ago, and he took over when Batts was resigned or let go, and he's been really active in going to community, engage in the community. I've heard generally positive things said about him. He's willing to sort of go into these tense situations in different communities and just listen to people. But he's also conveyed a sense that the Baltimore Police Department has learned its lessons from a policing and tactical standpoint from last year, and so he's sort of walking that fine line between wanting to address the concerns of the citizens, but also needing to address the concerns of his own police force, which felt that they weren't properly taken care of by upper leadership last year, and who, especially with things like, riot gear and riot equipment and personal protective equipment to keep them safe, as bricks and bottles were being thrown. So, hey, here he is. Hey, Kwame, how you doing? I'm Gus Sentimentus. I'm with City Explainer. I'm the guy who's been tweeting you for the last day saying, we're doing live streaming. And I wanted to just, could you give me sort of like a tease of what you're going to talk about tonight?
Anybody that follows Devin and I social media, it'll literally be what we tweet about every night while we're out hanging out. Tonight is just basically, I want to be open and honest about the last year that surround like the quote unquote fame that surrounds both of us, and just really get to have an open conversation with someone I consider my brother, a friend. And just basically lay it all out on the table, what we need from the community, how we can succeed in our own efforts individually as well as collectively.
Now, you rose to, fame through your very public challenge of Geraldo Rivera. But since that time, you've also very publicly challenged the Baltimore Police Department. You've been arrested at least once? How many? Twice. And I guess you've often you've squared off against the police commissioner himself. Could you give us some color into what your relationship is like with the police commissioner? Are you guys sort of, do you guys are able to talk to each other in real terms, or?
For me, my goal, my relationship with the police commissioner kind of diminished as soon as he became police commissioner. When Baltimore City Police pulled me over that night and took my car back in July. But my main goal right now is about establishing relationship with Baltimore City Police. They're an entity that will never go away, and it's about establishing a relationship that's community-based, not community policing rhetoric, but community-based where the community controls the police department, and just about establishing that so that in 8 years after Catherine Pugh serves her term as mayor, and I am saying Catherine Pugh will be mayor, we can truly have a grassroots type of leadership in Baltimore City where police actually report to the community, and that the mayor's office will truly represent grassroots type of organizations.
So I haven't paid attention to Twitter that closely. So would you describe yourself as a Senator Pugh supporter for mayor?
Yeah, I'm definitely supporting Catherine Pugh. If you talk about what rose me to prominence is the Geraldo confrontation. What many people don't know is that Geraldo confrontation started because he interrupted a conversation with someone I consider as a second mother, Catherine Pugh. I've known her for years, and she calls me every day to tell me to stop smoking. But I really believe that Catherine Pugh is the type of leadership that Baltimore City needs. She has not only the ear to the community and the open doors to the community, but also the political power to enact any type of community-based legislation and community-based type of leadership that we need in the city.
So do you feel confident that if she is elected mayor, that she would be able to sort of enact certain reforms that you would like to see in the police department?
I think what she will do is continue to do what she's done as a state senator, which is continue to advocate for local-owned businesses, continue to advocate for better schooling, which she's done with the Baltimore Design School. And I think that she will continue. I think that she would continue with her track record as said. She's built a lot of political power, has a lot of political capital, and I think that this is the time that she uses it all and rides off into the sunset.
Cool. Thank you very much, Kwame. And I look forward to seeing what you all have to say tonight. And thank you for joining us. And
thank you for coming.
And keep up the work in the community. Yeah. Right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care. All right. There you go, folks. Special pop in from Kwame Rose, and a little political plug there for Senator Catherine Pugh, who is running for mayor and who I believe in the last poll was shown to be in the lead. I'm gonna pass it over to the cameras, and we're gonna get started here pretty soon. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the event. Bye.
Adams. I'm the co-founder and operations director here at Impact Hub. I'm one of many, many people that work hard every day to make this space possible. We are a shared workspace for Baltimore's social entrepreneurs, community leaders, and mission-driven organizations. We are also a community forum where we bring together interesting conversations like this for people to network, but also about space our city. So I want to welcome everybody here tonight. We've got a great panel. I'm going to hand it over to Jermaine Bell, our programming coordinator, to introduce Devin.
Hey, everybody. Hey, let me just bring Devin up. Where'd Devin go? Hey, what's up, Devin? So I just want to read a little bit about Devin. I think everybody knows about Devin because it's Baltimore, and we're very proud of this guy right here. He did an amazing job. Yeah, hand clap. Hand clap it up for Devin. Yeah. So Devin Allen is a photographer who rose to fame when his image of a protester went viral, shared by major celebrities like Beyonce and Rihanna. That same image went on to be the cover of Time magazine. He has since had exhibitions of his photography at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum in Baltimore and Philadelphia's Slout Gallery. Is that how you pronounce it? Slout? Devin has been featured of BET's, as one of BET's 29 People You Should Know. He's won a Russell Simmons Rush Card Keep the Peace grant for a photography workshop, and he's been called the Eyes of Baltimore by CNN. Devin is now a photographer and media designer for Baltimore's own Under Armour. But a passion project of his is working with Ms. Erica Alston right here at the Kids Safe Zone. And it's partially one of the reasons why we're gathered here tonight. In the back, by the window seat, there is a bunch of photos done by the kids under Devin's leadership. And so I'm just going to let Devin talk a little bit about that. And if Erica wants to say anything, feel free. Cool.
Hey, how you doing? All right, shorty. So I'm Devin Allen, and he told you a little bit about me. I'm a self-taught photographer, born and raised in West Baltimore. So basically, these two of my, they're gonna be making comments all day. These are two of my kids, so don't mind them. But through the uprising, it really changed me, and I didn't, when I was out, it's just crazy because I seen a lot of kids, on the front lines. Through the whole process of being in an uprising, just taking pictures, mind you, I went out, because I felt obligated to, as an artist, to basically use my talent to get that out there. I didn't feel like media would tell the entire story like I could. So I was out for 3 weeks straight. I got hit with shells, pepper spray, tear gas, the whole nine, just trying to get the images. I actually broke my camera and everything, during the process. But, I never thought that my image would land on time. I just put it on Twitter, I just put it on Instagram, like, this is what's going on in Baltimore right now. This is what's really going on. I try to show every aspect, the good, the bad, the ugly. I try to be completely biased. So I just put it out there, and the stuff just went viral. And then I ended up being like the amateur to ever be on the cover of Time magazine. And then I just had another picture published in the issue recently, so that's like my 4th time. So I won like the year. I was like voted People of the Year along with Donald Trump and Kim Kardashian. I won Ebony Power 100, Vibe Magazine Magnificent 7 with Serena Williams and Chance the Rapper. So while I was racking up all these accolades, I didn't want to wait until I got too big to give back, because I was actually planning to move to New York to chase my photography dream. But after the uprising, and I was like, oh no, I made it, I'm good now. So basically the first thing I was like, I have to give back automatically. I didn't want to wait or waste any time. So I started a GoFundMe account, this was probably like June when I started it, right? Everything was still fresh. I was traveling and just going around speaking to kids and stuff like that. Started a GoFundMe, the first week, like $1,000. I was like, cool. I asked for like 10,000. And then like the guy who actually created the GoFundMe account actually donated another 1,000. The next thing I know, I just racked in like 3,000 within 2 weeks. And then I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool, but I need more. I need it faster. Because I was trying to get it started like automatically, because I was out, even after the uprising, I was still out every day taking pictures, talking to kids, and they was like really on the front lines, weaving through police officers and everything, and it really touched me. And then, like, so next thing I know, I get a call from DeRay, and he says, so we are talking about like the uprising and all these other things. He asked me how it's going down in Baltimore, so we just talking about that. And then he was like, oh, we talked on the phone for like an hour. And then towards the end of the conversation, he says, oh yeah, I meant to tell you, this is why I called you. Russell Simmons is looking for you. I'm like, what? So you sat on the phone for an hour talking about the uprising, but wait to tell me that. So I hopped on the phone with Michael Skolnick, and we talked about it. I told him, like, I don't know. I'm still learning photography myself. I've been doing it for 3 years. But I feel like I can really touch these kids because I'm one of them. I've been in their shoes. You know, I know how I feel. So I can really connect with them easily. I know I can do it. He was like, all right, how much you need? He was like, and we cheap. So I was like, all right. So I sat down with my mother, and I was like, how much should I ask for? I was like, I asked for 10, but I know cameras. She was like, just add it all up. So I added it up. I said, all right, I want to do an art show. I'm going to need kids going to break stuff. Stuff might get stolen, might lose stuff. So I added it all up in my head, and I was like, all right, hey, Michael, I need $20,000. He was like, all right, we're going to send it over in the check. He was like, yeah, we're going to send it right over. So they sent it over, gave me like a big check, and I got like a little hatchback car, so I'm riding down the street with a $25,000 check hanging out, riding down Pennsylvania Avenue. I know they was looking like, what in the world? So I went and, you know, I tried to cash a check that day, but it ain't go through. So I waited. So I went to Service Photo. You know, I'm real big about, you know, spending my money in Baltimore. You know, so I could have like went to B&H or anywhere else. No, I took my ass right up Hamden and went to Service Photo to holler at my man Burt. And I got me 5 Nikons, 5 Canons, SD cards, bags, everything that I could get. And then I just was like, all right. When I first had the idea in my head, I was telling my aunt, my godmother, and he was like, oh, I know this lady, my friend Erica, she got this safe zone thing. It's like a warehouse. They gutted it for the kids. She was like, it was born through the uprising. I was like, all right, cool, give me a number. So I called Erica and told her what I wanted to do. She was like, all right, cool. You know, and I was like, all right. I did not know what I got myself into. So I just got the cameras, and I just came down there like, you know, the kids, I was like, hey, I'm Devin Allen. I got the time cover. They ain't care. They ain't care nothing about nothing until I said, oh, you know Rihanna posted my pictures, right? Oh, for real? Then they got really engaged. And that was like the first day I met Carrie, I met Jamal. They've been with me since last summer. I got other kids that pop in and out, you know, and then it was like, I've just been working on the right formula to engage them, you know, and then still, you know, travel. I've been in Europe, Asia with Under Armour, and still trying to make time for them. So from there, you know, some of the ones that's more mature, like Carrie, she can have her camera. And plus, I know her mother, so go ahead, you can take that. You can take that. So she, you know, she's been shooting nonstop. She got it. You know, Jamal's another young man. You see his photos back there. He has it. And there's all these other kids, you know, they don't even care how the pictures come out. They just want to hold the camera. They just want to interact and have a good time. You know, it's like every day I come down there, Devin with my camera. I need a camera. It went from, you know, we started with like 15 kids, then it dropped to like a core 5. And then it jumped to like the whole safe zone wants cameras now. And mind you, they see 100 to 200 kids a day. And so then I'm like, all right, I should have asked for more money, and I should have, I started running out of money, and I'm like, shit, I'm running out of money, what can I do? And I was like, oh, I got 100K followers on Instagram. Let me use that. So I start taking donations. So for the past 2 or 3 months, I've been taking donations. I'm like sending over, we got film cameras, and what I do, I just lug them in a box as soon as they come. I go straight to Miss Erica, like, I got cameras. You know, it started off with 2, 3, and then they got to the point, Miss Erica, like, you got more? And I'm like, they coming. You know, and I just drop them off. Like, some kids will, like, be on my back, so I'm just like, here, take it home. You know, they come back the last day, I lost it. I'm like, all right, take another one. You know, it just feels good, the fact that I'm able to connect with them. So I just want to bring Jamal and Kerry up here. I told you I was coming up. Come on, Miss Erica, you might as well just come up too. So, like this, everybody say we look alike because of the bush, but on the ride over here, he was like, I don't like talking. It give me bubble guts. So I'm not gonna make him talk, but he's an amazing photographer. You know, he jumped around from Canon, Nikon. He's a Samsung shooter now. Actually, it's crazy how the world works. A teacher from Douglas reached out to me. It was like, I have this amazing kid. He's an aspiring photographer. He shoots all the sports and stuff for Doug. So I'm like, all right, let me see. You know, Samsung actually donated 5 cameras to me also. So with those, since they're brand new, I'm just picky who I give them to. So I want to give it to like a real photographer. So if you stand up for me, you might just stand up. So he got his camera today. He's at Doug. And the crazy thing about it, they cousins. And they cousins, and I didn't even know it. It's just crazy. So he gonna be out shooting with us now, so he has a camera. This young man, that my friend works with, that she mentors another young man, someone donated a Nikon and a point and shoot, another Nikon. I think she's over there. She donated a Nikon, and now this young man has 2 cameras now. So he has a DSLR and a point and shoot from a donation. So it's just, that's what it's all about. I'm just about giving back and then showing how powerful image is and how you can be successful doing art. A lot of kids don't understand that. The school system, growing up, we didn't have photography, let alone arts in school. And I graduated in 2006. I just told my age, but I don't know how it is now. Like me and Jarrell grew up together, and we was knuckleheads. We was running the streets, like just doing whatever, and we didn't know nothing about art. Art really saved lives, and I want to encourage everyone, if you have an art form, please reach out to some of these youth and just talk to them. That's all it takes is a conversation to her. They just want somebody to care, that's all, and then I'm going to pass it off to Erica.
I just want to first say thank you to Devin. So we never envisioned that this vacant laundromat would be what it is today. I think that we showed after the uprising that if there was a need, don't complain about it, fill it. And so 100 kids a day, 17,000 visits later, we're the Kids Safe Zone. It's just a safe place for kids in Sandtown, Winchester to come and hang out regularly. And because of our popularity or the media attention and the buzz around us, a lot of people try to attach themselves to us. I don't allow it. We're the Kids Safe Zone, and every relationship I create for those children has to be safe. And it's about consistency. And it's about relationships with children in a neighborhood, in a community that's had a lot of broken promises. So Devin has created a relationship with these kids that give them something to look forward to. And if you don't know Sandtown, Winchester, you don't know how huge it is to be a child with something to look forward to. Right? That's giant. So I get there, and is Devin here? Is Devin here? Is Devin here? Well, Devin's on his way. So now they all have Devin's number. Don't ask me. Call Devin. And so they wait on the parking lot. Even when we pulled up, from across the street, she said, that's Devin's car. Like, these kids are getting more than just photography. They have an adult, a young adult, a peer that believes in them and gives them an opportunity to believe in themselves. So it's no small feat that those pictures are on the back wall. That's huge. Their work is on display. And what was most attractive to our relationship with Devin was when we talked, Devin didn't just want to teach them photography. He says, I want to teach them photography, have an exhibit, teach them how to price their work, sell it, and allow them to keep the profit. Oh, Devin, you can come every day. That's opportunity. That's skill. That's talent. That's a craft that may allow these kids to escape Sandtown, Winchester. So thank you.
Yeah, if you want to purchase any pictures in the back, you can speak to Jermaine. If they wanted to purchase any pictures, I don't know how long it's going to be up. If you're going to, yeah, so anything, that you can, donate to the Kids Safe Zone, because we, a lot of the stuff I do now is out of my pocket. Erica works hard to get, stuff. We get turned down for grants a lot, and we're just trying to pull out every stop. Me and Erica are working on now, since I work for Under Armour, to try to get Under Armour into the Safe Zone. I already talked to Davis about it, to bring in the police department, because they do work with Under Armour also to try to be like this triangle offense to get the Safe Zone redone. So anything you can donate, or if you want to purchase any pictures, or donate any cameras, everything is going to go straight to the Safe Zone. That's like my second home. So if you want to purchase pictures, you talk to Jermaine, and then I will give him a price, or you can just kick it out, But thank you for coming. Appreciate y'all.
Great. So the balance of the evening is really going to be a conversation. We have, of course, Devin, but we also have Baltimore City Police Commissioner Keith Davis here, and Kevin Davis, excuse me. And we also have Kwame Rose here as well. This is a conversation that's been going on really for decades, and we'll be continuing it here tonight. It's extremely valuable to have both activists and the police commissioner on stage tonight talking, and we want to give them a round of applause for showing up and continuing to have that conversation. So before we get started, I'm actually going to hand it over to Jermaine to read a few bios.
Sure. I'm the bio guy tonight. Okay, so we all know who's on the stage at this point, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background. So Kwame Rose is a social activist and artist who gained notoriety during the Baltimore uprising for his heroic confrontation with Fox News' Geraldo Rivera, challenging the media's inaccurate representation of protesters during peaceful demonstrations. Since then, Kwame has become a prominent activist and public speaker who focuses on justice, police reform, and youth advocacy. At just 21 years old, Kwame has served on the board of Brothers in Action and launched the B Foundation and Black Excellence initiative to help Black youth excel in pursuing their dreams and aspirations. Also joining us is Kevin Davis. Kevin Davis was confirmed as the police commissioner for Baltimore City in October. After stepping in as interim commissioner in July of last year, following the departure of Anthony Batts, he joined the Baltimore City Police Department in January 2015 to oversee the Investigations and Intelligence Bureau and consequently oversaw the police investigation into the death of Freddie Gray. Commissioner Davis experienced stepping in to lead a police department during a time of crisis and served as interim police chief in Anne Arundel County. He is also a Maryland native and began his career in Prince George's County. Can we get a hand clap for the panel, guys? Cool.
All right, so thank you all for coming out. Thank you to Impact Hub for this space. I don't think this is a really unprecedented type of conversation between two activists and the active police commissioner taking place here. So what we'll do is we'll ask questions for the commissioner and just ask that hopefully the audience trusts our aggressiveness in pressuring the police commissioner to answer questions.
I trust it.
So first I do want to thank you for coming out because this type of conversation isn't normal, and nor would any other elected official that we have at this point or any other high appointed official such as yourself agree to sit, well, especially with myself, but with people who I guess gained notoriety through a very dark time in Baltimore, or very, depending on how you interpret it, a very inspiring time. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Kwame. And we only go back a year, but I feel like I've known Kwame for a lot longer than that. And I'm probably not nearly as interesting as Kwame and Devin. And if I think you guys add your ages up together, that's my age, right? Right, Erica? You're their age too. But I consider myself, and I consider the Baltimore Police Department and Mel Russell, who everybody knows Mel Russell. And if I could ask for one clap tonight, it would only be from Mel.
Apparently he cooks good fries.
Where'd he go? So Mel's here. I think Mel's a part of the solution. T.J. Smith, our media relations director, is here, and Lieutenant Jerron Jackson. And these three are part of the solution. So we're here to go forward with you guys. And we don't mind looking backwards, and we don't mind looking ourselves in the mirror. And I'm just glad that a year later we're sitting down like this.
So to get it started off, first question I have is, you are a big proponent of community policing. And so my question to you is, as police commissioner that is actively and openly suggested that the police department does need reform, would you, as the police commissioner, advocate for investment into community-based organizations to target violence in communities? Because I think it's clear that Baltimore City Police Department has not, or cannot operate without violence happening, because the police wouldn't have a job. So would you advocate for investment into community-based organizations to target the violence in those specific communities?
Right. So Kwame, not only would I already have, and I continue to do so. And the state of Maryland was recently generous, and they gave us some money to do just what you suggest, to give the money back to the grassroots organizations, the people like Erica Alston and others here who can reach out and touch people in ways that we can't reach out and touch people. So, and I know this may sound unbelievable, but you know, I want the future to put the cops out of business. I want the role of policing in America to be so dramatically reduced because other entities in government and society are stepping up. So Kwame, if that's a yes/no question, that's my long yes. I am an advocate of that.
I got a question. Basically, police officers, you know, they're human beings. You know, they make mistakes, and I understand it. And some days, you know, I get up and I got to go to work, and I got to wake up with an attitude, a chip on my shoulder. You know, so I just to these police officers and help them mentally on a day-to-day basis. A police officer might come to work one day, might be going through a divorce or something. He might take that out on someone. So how do y'all mentally evaluate police officers on a regular day basis? Like, do y'all talk to them, you know, give them psych evaluations and stuff like that?
Well, I've spoken publicly. You know, we talk a lot in our profession about training and about accountability, but we don't talk enough about hiring. And the way that our profession has worked in Baltimore and elsewhere, and I know there's some former Sarge, I see you. Good to see you in person for the first time. We don't spend as much attention as we need to in the psychological screening process when we hire police officers. So I want someone with a service mindset, and our culture, and not just our police culture, but our American culture has glorified police work where it's always the good guys versus the bad guys. It's always cops and robbers. It's always drugs. It's always guns. But there's so much more to policing than that. And you guys are millennials. I'm Generation X. I'm sure your generation is going to be much more successful than mine fixing the problems of America. But most Baltimore police officers are millennials. The average age of a cop in the city is about 26, pushing around a marked patrol car. They're smarter than my generation. They're much more IT savvy than my generation, but they're not the greatest communicators. Present company obviously excluded. So when we talk how to train differently, we have to train our cops how to interact with people who aren't under arrest, who aren't suspected of committing a crime, who aren't reporting a crime, who haven't witnessed a crime. So we've engaged in a new academic curriculum in our police academy, and as far as I know, we're the only police department out of our nation's 18,000 to have done this, where we're teaching community foot patrol. But really all that is interpersonal skills 101. So I'm convinced if we can interact in a respectful way with people, because we interact with people oftentimes who are in crisis. So we interact with a person or a family or a neighborhood at that person, family, or neighborhood's worst moment, and they're in crisis. And if we can't bring a level of maturity and respect to that interaction automatically goes from 0 to 60 in like 2.2 seconds.
So a couple of months ago, I wrote an article that talked about the real reason why Freddie Gray was killed. And it wasn't because he was placed inside of a paddy wagon. It wasn't because the officers beat him. In actual fact, it was because 3 white officers who don't live in Baltimore City, who never experienced what Freddie Gray experienced in Sandtown, Winchester, they feared Freddie Gray because of the anti-blackness inside of himself. So you as a white male, like the 3 initial officers who confronted Freddie Gray, how do you deal with the anti-blackness that is naturally inside of yourself? And how do you, as a white male, in a majority white police department, operate in a majority black city?
Well, I must confess, I thought Kwame was going to get to his aggressive question a lot earlier, but that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So I'm fourth generation public safety. My dad was a cop. My grandfather, great grandfather were DC firefighters. I've got a family of public safety. So believe it or not, I was born and raised in a very diverse Prince George's County. So I didn't grow up in an all-white environment. Not nearly an all-white environment. I grew up in a diverse community, and did that diversity that I was exposed to throughout my life and my education make me completely without biases? Probably not. But it exposed me to people who didn't look like me, people who weren't from the same background. And I'm from a working class background. But I'll tell you this, I'm my own harshest critic, and I can look myself in the mirror pretty much daily and point out shortcomings that I have. And I think our profession, thanks to 2015, thanks to not only what happened with Freddie Gray in Baltimore, but thanks to Ferguson, thanks to New York, thanks to, I could name 10 other jurisdictions that experienced a moment in 2015, all those moments that happened, surprisingly in one calendar year has caused our profession to look in the mirror and examine those biases. And do those biases exist? Yeah, so I'm not going to get defensive and dig my heels and say I am without bias. But I think I'm positioned to lead a very diverse agency in a majority African-American jurisdiction because I was born and raised in a jurisdiction that is now majority African-American. I'm comfortable interacting with people regardless of their race or background. And when you look at me for the first time, short, stocky white guy with short hair, you might not, I'm not really that short, so you might not think that about me, but I'm comfortable interacting with people who don't look like me, and I'm really cognizant of the fact that when I promote within this organization and when I make assignments in this organization, that those promotions, assignments, those hires will reflect this community.
So to piggyback off of that question, in particular, about police accountability and police brutality. It's public information that you yourself have 2 lawsuits that were settled, 2 civil cases that were settled for accusations of police brutality, cases that you were involved in. One of them being the kidnapping of your boss's daughter's boyfriend. With your record of police brutality, if an officer who you were in charge of committed those same acts, would you fire that officer? Or what would you do in that situation if you were the boss?
So Kwame, just to kind of very, very quickly address 2 incidents back in the 1990s. I've addressed those publicly. I addressed those at my confirmation hearing. But I'll say this. Since I've been the police commissioner of Baltimore, we have criminally charged 3 Baltimore police officers with crimes that were committed while they were on duty. And 2 of those 3 police officers who were charged with those crimes that were committed on duty were only charged, Kwame, only because other Baltimore police officers who were there stepped up and said, I saw something and it wasn't right. Since January 1st of this year, I have terminated 5 Baltimore police officers for misconduct, and another 5, for a grand total of 10, have resigned in lieu of termination. So I like to let my record speak for itself. Like anybody in this room, I'm a combination of all my experiences, all of my successes, all of my failures, all of my frailties. So I don't know how you can live 47 years or how you guys can live your lives without experiencing things that in hindsight you wish you would have done it differently. But I think to a fault, I'm very reflective about myself, and every bad day I've had or every bad decision I've ever made, I can promise you I've been my own harshest critic, and I've learned from those experiences, and those experiences I think have made me a better leader.
The percentage, when you are hiring a police officer, and you know they're not from Baltimore, do you even check to see if they understand the situation they're walking into? Because me growing up, I have been locked up, had weed put on me. One of my friends was murdered down Select Club. Off-duty police officer had a gun on him. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I think his name was Tall. He pulled a gun out, and police officers, on-duty police officers, shot him. He was off-duty. He had a gun, off-duty. And my friend was shot. He was shot and killed also by police officers. So I've been around it, seen it. You know, I was in the streets. But it's like when you come across these police officers, they look at us like animals. You know, and even now, you know, I get looks and stuff from police officers. I get harassed even to this day, and they know who I am. I just want to know the mentality of when you hire these guys, do they understand the situation that they're getting in? Like, this is Baltimore. A lot of us don't have much. We struggle every day. We live check to check. You know, just because we are hard on time, we don't need to be locked up. We don't need to be harassed. You know, we need help. You know, so at the end of the day, I want to know, when you hire these police officers, do you even check that they, you know, that they are aware of the living conditions in West Baltimore, in Sandtown, or Greenmount, or down the hill? Do they understand that? You know, and they look at it as, you know, this is my job. I'm coming, I'm going to police these animals, and then I'm going to drive back out to PA, or I'm going to drive out to Laurel or wherever else. You know, you ever thought about forcing these police officers to live closer to the city? Make them, you can't shit, you're not going to shit in your own backyard. You know, you have to think about forcing them to live in Baltimore City, at least Baltimore County. That way, you know, the shit they do, it will come back on them if they live more in the city. They will watch what they do, but, you know, they come in, I work my job, and I go home, they feel safe. You know, they get around, I done had drugs put on me, and I've seen it done multiple times. You know, I just want to know, like, can you force these police officers to be a part of the community? Yes, you're policing it, but you need to be a part of it too. Because at the end of the day, you're coming in to protect us. You're not here to, you know, put collars around our neck. You're here to protect us. You're here to work with us. You're supposed to help us. You know, and you know, when police officers pull up behind me, the first thing I do is get over. Automatically, it's just my automatic thing. I just automatically get over to completely avoid, you know, wherever I go. You know, I don't think some of these police officers, they really don't understand Baltimore. They don't understand the history of how we got to the point that where we at now. They don't understand how crack hit us. You know, they don't understand how the heroin hit us. They don't understand how the lead paint affected us. You know, and I don't think they really understand the culture of Baltimore, and they look at it like a zoo.
So Devin, and I'll say this, and I hope this doesn't sound insincere, but, you know, for you, Kwame, anybody in this room who's ever had a negative experience with a police officer, I'm sorry that that's happened to you. I really am. So that's not just on behalf of the Baltimore Police Department, that's on behalf of our profession. And it's a profession that in America, 900,000 cops, 18,000 police departments. Again, 2015 changed the game, right? And it's served as an awakening. So in Baltimore, there's a lot of things I wish I could compel people to do. I wish I could, you know, possess a lightning bolt and fix a lot of things. And if I could, with residency and hiring homegrown Baltimoreans, I would. In Maryland, and this is something that state delegates and state senators are responsible for, the only person that is required to live in the jurisdiction where he or she serves is the police commissioner or the police chief. So by law, I'm the only one in the entire police department who's required to live in the city. There are other jurisdictions throughout the country and that's quite different there. But right now, only about 21%, conservatively 21% of cops who work for the BPD live in Baltimore. We're doing a lot of things to try to enhance that number. We have this partnership with Live Baltimore called Pizza in the Precinct, where we're introducing trainees while they're in the academy to different neighborhoods throughout the city so they consider living there. But I'm going to, just give it to you straight. In Maryland, the hiring standards for police officers have remained largely unchanged since the mid-1970s. And the biggest hindrance for Baltimore and a couple other jurisdictions in Maryland to hiring that homegrown diversity is a very outdated marijuana use hiring standard. That hiring standard was established in our state at a point in time back in the mid-70s where marijuana use was thought of a whole lot differently than it is now. So when people ask me, tell me one reason why you can't hire more African American young people born and raised in Baltimore to be cops in Baltimore. It's that marijuana standard that all too often stands in the way. And I've been an advocate to change that, and I'll continue to be an advocate to change that. A lot of times, societal changes occur at a much faster rate than changes that occur within government organizations. And we're a government organization. I'm very liberal. And that, you surprised I said that word?
Well, Malcolm X said, watch out for white liberals.
I know. That's a good one. He's aggressive and funny. He's aggressive and funny. I was going to finish that sentence. Before I gave Kwame that softball, I was going to finish that sentence. I'm very progressive. How's that for a better synonym? I'm going to smoke a cigar after the show, Shorty. Yeah. And if you hand me that cigar, I'm going to look inside of it. But I'm very progressive for some of the changes we need to make that will fundamentally enhance our diversity, fundamentally. Now, about 45% of the Baltimore Police Department is African American. But the diversity that we want to achieve is hiring homegrown Baltimorean diversity. And I promise you, I'm dedicated to doing that and figuring out a way to do it. Is it a challenge? Yeah, it's a challenge. But we got to change the game a little bit. And when I say that, I mean we need the state to take a look at its hiring standards and amend them. I'm an advocate, right? I'm an advocate for the state allowing individual jurisdictions to come up with hiring standards. But right now, we don't have that autonomy. And I'd like to one day get it, and I'll continue to push for it, just like I'll continue to stand up and talk about reforms to LEOBR that you won't see other police chiefs do.
Speaking on LEBOR, right now a big topic in the legislative session was the enactment or the addition to LEBOR of the community, what do you call it? No, not community.
Administrative Hearing Board?
The board, yes.
Administrative Hearing
Board. You came out and said that you would support an administrative hearing board with civilians, two civilians, if only you could control who those civilians were. How does community policing work if the community has no control over who is on that board, the community board, let alone the police department?
So, Kwame, that's a little bit of an inaccurate paraphrase. What I said, and what I said no one else has said in terms of police chiefs in this state, is that I support adding two civilians to our administrative hearing board if I am then given the authority to select them. What I mean by that, and it requires an explanation, and sometimes explanations that are attached to a comment don't always make their way on the 11 o'clock news, is that I want to work with advocates. I want to work with community groups. I want to work with the faith community to help identify candidates. But ultimately, and this is what I'm getting to, and I'll admit this is a little bit selfish. If you're going to hold me personally responsible for the discipline and the organization that I lead, you got to give me the authority to be completely responsible for the composition of that administrative hearing board. Right now in Maryland, I don't have that authority.
The community policing, the community review board, civilian review board, why should not that be run, or the citizens picked by community leaders in those specific communities?
So there's an administrative board within an organization. There's a citizens review board that's outside. So they're two different things. But here's what I'm advocating, and maybe I'm taking one step forward at the expense of two steps back. What I'm advocating for is I want civilians on the hearing board. I want the authority to ultimately choose those civilians, but I won't make that choice. Seek input, recommendations, names for me to consider. So, but the ultimate selection, maybe that's a better word, I want the ultimate selection to be mine. Because right now, you know, and I don't mean this as a cop-out, no pun intended, I can't fully select my administrative hearing board. I can't do it. I want to be able to do it, and then when I'm able to do it, I want you to hold me responsible for the results. And even without an LEOBR change, some of the changes I've made within my organization have resulted, again, since January 1st, and it's only April, in 5 terminations and 5 resignations in lieu of termination. And I don't say that and want to, for 1 second, paint cops with a broad brush, because those terminations and those criminal charges that I pursued and communicated with and worked with the state's attorney are for the vast majority of police officers who I think come to work routinely and do the right thing.
So we got time for one more question, and I won't ask you about Keith Davis, who was shot 44 times by 4 Baltimore City police officers, because it is an open case involving Keith Davis, and I know we won't get a transparent answer. But I will ask you about Tyrone West in his case. He was killed 18 months before Freddie Gray ever was. There were 10 to 15 officers who were involved in the interaction with Tyrone West that ultimately left him dead. If you were the commissioner at the time that incident took place, that Tyrone West was killed by 10 to 15 officers, including 1 Morgan State police officer, would you have acted any differently?
Well, Kwame, before I answer that hypothetical question, let me go back to, if you ask me about Keith Davis, you won't get a transparent answer. The transparent answer is, I can't talk about something that is currently being prosecuted. So that's an honest answer, and I think it's a transparent answer as well, but that's wordsmithing. The Baltimore Police Department, Kwame, it has been around for 232 years, right? 232 years. We're one of the oldest police departments in the country. I have no problem owning any and everything that occurs under my watch, any and everything, the good, bad, and everything in between. But for me to go back and look at something that didn't occur when I was the commissioner, I wasn't even here, and engage in a hypothetical what if, I just don't know that that's productive.
Will you advocate, or will you use your political capital, your position as the Baltimore City Police Commissioner now, to encourage State's Attorney Marilyn Mosley to reopen the investigation?
Well, I'll say this. I think the state's attorney recently came out and said that her office was not going to prosecute that. So, right. And here's the thing about there's a statute of limitations that is attached to most crimes in Maryland. Not murder, right? So, and I'll say this about any incident whatsoever. The moment that new information surfaces, any crime, especially those crimes with no statute of limitations, I'll embrace that and go forward with it. I think the rest of the question's a little bit hypothetical, but what I'll say, Kwame, and sometimes I wish Devin wasn't sitting in between us, because he looks like he's keeping us apart. But what I'll say,
That's why I'm here.
I'm gonna move my chair a little closer.
I'm the laid back spiritual one, and this is the wildfire. I keep it calm. I keep it safe.
But I'll just say, and this is not, I'm not running for office. I'm not plugging myself, but over time, if it sounds like it, I apologize. Over time, I think if you judge me by my actions, I think I will serve this city well. And will we make mistakes along the way? Yes. But I think more often than not, going forward, we're going to do the right things. I hired a media relations director, and he's in the 3rd row, who argues with me every day, right? I want to be surrounded by people who are smarter than me, brighter than me, and who will help me lead this agency.
So
that's it.
One last question for me.
I thought that was the last
one. And I know we got to wrap up this segment. Yes or no answer, do Black Lives Matter?
Yes.
All right. But before we get off the stage, this is the activist community and the family that we have grown to be is very close. You have Shorty, you see Michael Wood, you see Sonia in the cut, you see all these different people. We became a family for fighting, against police brutality and other issues in the community. And even after Freddie Gray, you had Keith Davis, then you had are you familiar with Aaron Winston, who had his arm broke at power plant and then was walked to the precinct and then was, forced to go down the bookings and then receive his medication. It seems like some police officers, they didn't feel or they not changing fast enough. So would you say you want to work with the communities? I think this is a start. But you have amazing activists. Even like Shorty, that's a good guy. We have people like, you have Melvin that's in the community. You have people like May. These are people that's on the ground. You need to work with these people. I know Shorty can it's Shorty. We all know how Shorty is. But Shorty is amazing at what he does and he really cares. These are genuine people just like myself. I hope this, a lot of people at the Impact Hub was like, oh my God, Kwame, Kennedy, say, how are we going to do this? And we said it was going to be very respectful. Because at the end of the day, we might be on different sides of the fence. But growing up, I was always raised to respect my enemy, because they're my enemy for a reason. So at the end of the day, I hope this will inspire you to start working with us more, and not just sitting on panels, because honestly, I'm tired of doing fucking panels. I want to be on the ground doing work. So I talk to you and doing that hard about, coming up with a way to help the safe zone. And you said you was with it. I hope you're with it. This is our community. You police it. You need to start really working with us, really connecting with, understand how our mind ticks. And then maybe we can understand how your mind ticks, because I really don't know how some of these police officers' mind tick. I don't understand their logic, and I don't understand how they treat us. So I hope my whole goal from bringing you here, is to basically, I'm extending a hand. I feel like I'm being the bigger man, because at the end of the day, I'm the oppressor. I'm reaching out to you to say, look, you see the work that I'm doing. I'm very open about it, and I do it with next to no support. Mind you, everything that I have done has came from out of Baltimore City. I have had no support from no one. My money came from Russell Simmons. Some money came from Reginald F. Lewis. Other than that, it's been from the community. My community has my back. I don't get anything from anywhere else. And I'm for my community, and I hope this conversation inspires you to help people, because at the end of the day, we don't have all the resources. I'm extending my hand. I want to do some work in the community. We need to work together. We need, Shorty got the barbecues. We need to be grilling. Y'all did the community football game with guys from Penn North, which was dope. You had police officers playing with guys they have locked up. I heard the conversation. And that's a good step, but we can't just keep having these one-time events, and then, it's no reason why we shouldn't conversate on a regular day basis. And so we can understand, we can't just, you see us at a protest, or you see us at this, because at the end of the day, there's some activists that do the same shit. They're here one day and they're gone the next. And the same thing with the police presence. Some days y'all there, y'all support us, you shake our hands, hey, how you doing? The next day, it's a cold shoulder. We gotta stop that. This has to be every day. I live this is my home, and you policing it. So we need to work together and be consistent, and not just have a panel discussion to talk about what could be or what could have been. I'm like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm really trying to get this work and really get work done. I'm working with the youth. They are listening. Nobody believes in the youth. The school system gave up on our youth a long time ago. It's no reason why I'm working with an organization called Arts Every Day, who tells me it's an art teacher. It's maybe one art teacher between 3 schools that jump from school to school. They don't have no art. You have voices that you might have the power to put in emotion, but you have a voice to just say something. We have to show, like you said, our generation is what's done is done. I'm old. I feel like a lot of my friends I can't change, but them, we can. We got to start putting that good foot forward and putting our heart, our blood, sweat, and tears into the youth. That's the only way things are going to change, and that's what I believe.
I got a lot of thoughts that I would like to express, but I'm trying to stay out of jail. But no, I do want to thank you for having this type of conversation. It's helped me in my development and learning how to work with people inside of the system, even though I believe that the system isn't broken. It's completely perfected. But I think that it will take all of us to free some of us. And so I thank you for participating.
Thank you, Kwame. Thank you, Devin. You know what? I gained a little weight, Shorty. So I'll just, if I may, I'm convinced at this point in my life and in my career, and I've been doing this for 25 years, that by the time other parts of government or society fail a person, fail a family, or fail a neighborhood, whether it's education or housing or health or the faith community, when all those other government entities and societal entities fail someone or fail a family, it's all too often that the only entity left standing to deal with a person or a family in crisis is the police. And shame on our society if society thinks the police should deal with people who need help. So I think that's the shift in American policing. And if we're eventually going to change policing behaviors that have served to create gaps between us and the community, we got to change our mindset. So the behavioral changes are really dependent on a mindset change. And even though this is a panel, and I get it, this is not all just about panels, it does help shift the mindset. And you guys have helped shift my mindset, and I mean that with all sincerity. And I couldn't be more honored to be here with you tonight. No, sure, I'm not going to do that.
Give my bullhorn back, Devin.
He wanted me to give the blowhorn back in front of you, but y'all been keeping it locked up. He got some special blowhorn thanks to Michael Wood that has Bluetooth and all this other stuff. So he can just blow horn at y'all across the street. So I've been keeping it away from him, so he won't get locked up again. But I'm happy that
you ain't gonna mess with him, Dave. He get a pass just like you get a pass.
I never mess with you, Shorty. I'm always glad to see you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so now we get to the fun part. Oh yeah, Jermaine, it's in the office. So now we get to the fun part. So Devin talked a lot about himself over the last year. So to give you all a little perspective of who I am, I'm Kwame Rose. I am the guy that yelled at Geraldo, even though I hate that video now. But so what I will say is that I grew up I grew up in West Baltimore, but I grew up in a different world than Devin and Freddie Gray grew up in. I grew up in Huntington Ridge, which Sheila Dixon is actually one of my neighbors. But I grew up in a very privileged part of Baltimore. And I was homeschooled from 1st to 4th grade. I wound up going to private school. And 8th grade was the first time I ever got called a nigger. At an all-boys private school, Cardinal Gibbons. And so I fought with my parents. My parents, they're young. They had me at 19 and 40. I was able to be raised in a very nice home, be able to afford it. I never had to want for anything in life. But at the same time, I still struggle with who I was as a black person in this country. If I could have all this financial privilege and still be called just a nigger. So I went to public school, wound up bouncing around public school, and I ended up doing debate. Adam and Davon, I think, are here somewhere. Adam and Davon from Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle, are y'all here? I don't know. Maybe they're outside doing something. It's a very special day. But but Adam and Davon were really responsible for helping me get a full scholarship. So I actually went to college on a full scholarship for debate. I went to the University of Texas for 1 year. That was the first time I ever got locked up. So I wound up losing my full scholarship. I came back home, started a mentoring program at Booker T. Washington Middle School with 3 of my childhood friends, and we started a mentoring program to try to help better their lives and provide brotherhood and mentorship for a lot of young men in the city who have that without. It's an ongoing struggling effort. We did everything out of our pockets. And this year alone, I've lost 3 of our mentees to gun violence. So 3 have been killed this year. I've had like 7 students arrested, 7 of my mentees arrested for bringing a gun to school this year alone. But through all of that, I've never participated in a protest before Freddie Gray died. I was working down in Harbor East. I had a great job as a college dropout. I had my own loft downtown with a spiral staircase. I had a car, it was all great. Actually, the block that I lived on is how Devin and I actually know each other. So we ran into each other a lot before Freddie Gray ever happened, before the protest ever happened. We hang on the block where 40% of the homicides happen 2 blocks up on Baltimore and Carey Street. We hang on a street called by Holland Street Market, where there's literally 4 black-owned businesses, a barbershop, Limlo's Barbershop, City of Gold's clothing line. Mi Ranchito is like the best Tex-Mex in the world. There's a hair salon and then there's an African shop. And that's literally like the safest block in Baltimore City. Like literally, I feel it, because the thugs and criminals protected. I had off-duty police officers come to my house with guns, and thugs and criminals ran them off from trying to hurt me. But that's how I know Devin. Before we get into like the hard questions, the last year of my life would not be possible had it not been for the development of this friendship. And really, I look at Devin, he's way older than I am. He's an old man. But had it not been for Devin being the type of person that he is, taking me under his wing, helping God through the spotlight that we have been able to together, I would have lost my sanity. Had it not been for Devin and his family, you know, opening up their arms to where, though, like we'll go out of town, we'll ride back together, we'll hang out. Everybody be like, where Kwame at? They tell me be there at 6:30, I come at 7:45, and it'll be all good. But honestly, like in retrospect, this conversation is really important. This conversation is the type of conversation that we have every night, including last night, where we literally like look out for each other while we're out in public, and literally like try to battle through life and understanding like what it is to be in the spotlight and how do we use these platforms to help amplify the voices of the young people. But like literally everything I gained through this 1 year has been, even this rock on my arm, I wouldn't know what it is without Devin being like, yo, you need to get your energy right. So, like, Devin, I want to tell you, I'm proud of you and everything you do in the safe zone. And your work is so inspiring to me that Michael Wood, who's the former cop, who was like, I didn't like him at first, because he was white and he was a cop, and like I just felt like he should have been thrown in jail. But Michael actually introduced me to 2 phenomenal guys over the past summer. Matthew Kosovich, who, if you ever have seen the movie Lahain, it's one of the only films to ever be rated 100 by critics. It's one of the most phenomenal films of the 20th century. And also Fabian, I don't know Fabian's last name, but Fabian he owns Secret Cinema. So I told Erica this a little earlier though, so what we'll be doing next week is taking a look at the Safe Zone. For many of you that don't know, the Safe Zone is Douglas, the old Douglas High School, and there's a very phenomenal theater. That area has phenomenal arts that was lost after the riots of '68. And so what we'll be doing is going to look at that area to see how much it would take to redevelop that entire space and putting the money back in the community to make sure that the Safe Zone is a complete block that young people and their families can actually inhabit and take as much from it as we hope to give into it.
I'm going to say a little bit about me. Y'all probably tell this story all the time. But my life was totally different from Kwame. A lot of what I went through was self-inflicted. You know, like growing up, like I had like a very stable family, you know, but my family, we from West Baltimore, you know, we moved in back and forth between Baltimore City and the county. You know, me and Jarrell, we met out in Baltimore County, but I was addicted to the city, so I got put out of school and went back to Baltimore City schools. So growing up, I actually never thought I'd ever be a photographer. I didn't even plan my life past 21. I'm 27 now. I'm not even that old, but I'm 27. But I stopped counting at the friends that I lost to the streets and gun violence. I stopped counting at like 25. I lost like 25 friends plus, and I got into photography basically when I had my daughter when I was 20. And by the time I was 20, I was selling drugs. You know, I was ripping and running the streets. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I tried school, it didn't work for me. And I was making money, so I chose to stay outside. And I hustled with like 3 of my best friends. So 2 of them are dead now, and one of my friends, Marley, he moved to Atlanta. You know, and he was like a live wire. He had lead paint. You know, he was off the chain. But we sold drugs in Yale Heights area, Saratoga, and Fulton. And the money was good, but it's just like I didn't, you know, it didn't resonate with me. So when I had my child, you know, my father was never in my life, so she kind of inspired me to, you know, want more out of life. So I went and ended up, I told my mother, like, well, I didn't tell her I had a child on the way. My daughter's mother told, I was scared to tell. So I told my mother, I need a job, you know. She was like, all right, why don't you sent out some resumes. I didn't know how to do a resume, so she helped me put my resume together. I actually landed a job at Transamerica, working for Transamerica. I actually spent 3 years working there, and I actually ended up being an accountant workflow coordinator, you know, handling big time accounts with like no degree, nothing. I don't know how I got to that point, but I was handling Toyota accounts, but it was like I was so bored. And I'm making good money, you know, finally I could, you know, go to work, come home, be safe, I had to look over my shoulder. And so one of my friends named Josh Austin, he's an amazing poet. We went to high school together, we went to Forest Park together. He was into poetry. He's like, yo, let's do a poetry night. The same block Kwame, it was a place called Amore, across from Holland. And I said, look, ain't nobody in the hood coming to no poetry night, yo. Nobody not trying to hear none of that. He was like, no, trust me, it's gonna be dope. So we did it. 5 people came. And I was like, yo, I told you. He was like, no, just keep promoting, we're gonna do it. Next week, 200 people. So we ended up doing that for like a year straight. And then from there, that's when I started to change. You know, and he came to me one day, he was like, yo, the poetry night doing good, but you're not doing nothing. I'm like, what you mean I promote? He was like, well, I book the poets. I'm a poet. I say poetry. All you do is sit at the bar and get drunk and talk to girls. And I was like, no, that's what I'm good at. He's like, you need to find something. He said, you need to find something. So I said, all right, I'm going to write a poem. So I would write poems about my life, you know, jokes, funny poems. And then he's like, yo, we need to take pictures to promote. So we bought like this little cool pix camera. And we would take pictures and put them on T-shirts. And the T-shirts was selling. It was, you know, we did like events called Carmetry. We did stuff at Tony's Diner. We actually, I've never been to the Caribbean spot across the 18 North Charles Street. We had the floor on top of there, and we poetry on the top floor. It was hella hot, you know, but it got the job done. And then I started taking pictures, and I started to change. I wasn't hanging out with my best friends anymore. They were still, you know, in the streets, and I was writing poems and, you know, taking pictures, and, you know, I would ride through the block. Hey, what's up, you know? You chilling today? No, I got a poetry night, you know, and from there, you know, it kind of wedged our relationship. You know, I went from, you know, being like, known as like this deep mouthful of gold, I had long braids, to like, you know, clean cut, you know, still a little rough around the edges, but I was finding myself at that time, about like 22, 23. And I got my first camera, and I went to go get it, and I never knew how expensive cameras were. When I got there, I was like, give me that. I went, all right, let's go. I'm thinking it was like a cool $1,000. Got to the front, he was like, this is $4,000. I was like, oh shit. I was like, you know, I'm a spoiled brat. So I just called my grandma, like, hey, grandma, I gave her a little voice. I didn't use your credit card. She's like, for what? I was like, don't worry about it, just let me get it. She's like, all right, don't max my card out. I went to Best Buy, I went bananas. I got my first camera. And I just started snapping away, walking around Baltimore, snapping pictures. And I just remember one day, I did a photo shoot with my friend. And we had a building right here on North and Keller, right on the corner. We had like a little tattooed in there, had hookah night. He did everything, just hustling, doing art, whatever we can do. And I got in the house, and then I had got a call, like, yo, you know, my best friend was named Daddy. He got shot 7 times. He died between the front door and the screen door on Baltimore and Bitlow. Like, dang, you know, we was inseparable. I was supposed to get up with him that day, you know, because he had been speaking. I was going to hang out with him, but I got tired of my photo shoot, so I wasn't there. Like, dang, that's crazy. So the next day, I went and paid respects to his mother, you know, hugged her. My other best friend was in there. He was like a live wire. And I was telling him, you know, like, let's chill. I had another photo shoot. Like, yo, come to my photo shoot. We'll get drinks and we're going to talk about it. You know, I hugged him. I told him I love him. Last thing I know, at the photo shoot, I get a call. Hey, Kristen shot in the back of the head. The same dude killed both of my best friends. I lost both my best friends in one weekend. I'm not supposed to be here, because I was supposed to be with both of them. But if it wasn't for photography, I wouldn't be here. So that's when I was like, this is a God-given gift. I'm just going to run with it. And, you know, the universe blessed me, and then I just, you know, maxed out credit cards. You know, I changed my lifestyle. I took a job working at night, working with people with autism and intellectual disabilities. So I worked from 12 at night to 8 in the morning. I shot all week, all day. And then, so when the uprising happened, I had already been traveling to, you know, New York, giving out free art. I was a starving artist, like, literally. And so when I didn't know Freddie Gray personally, but I had mutual friends that knew Freddie Gray. And I hung, you know, in that area, out the street, up from Garrison Liberty Heights. So we had a lot of mutual friends. So I just went out and was snapping, and I had 10,000 followers on Instagram, and then I had a lot of Twitter followers. And I just, you know, Baltimore Sun, I used to send them my pictures, they would never reply. I'm like, shit, my work stuff, you know, but I shot the Mike Brown protest, Palestine, and that's how I met people like Shorty and all these other activists. And ever since then, you know, I've just been snapping ever since. So that's kind of my story.
So let's talk first, and then we can get questions. So, all right, so I'll tell them a little bit of my experience. So the night of the Geraldo video, well, no, really the night before. So if anybody that knew me before any of this, they know, like today it was like a life circle. Like I got to speak to, I was at Digital Harbor all day, and my 9th grade government teacher, I spoke to all 3 of her classes today. And so anybody that knew me before this knows I say whatever I want to authority. They tried to diagnose me in high school with oppositional defiance disorder and put me in special ed. So the uprising every day, like while protests was going on, my father would text me like, stay in the house, don't go out there, don't get in no trouble. And so the night of the Geraldo video, I didn't know it was being recorded. I didn't know what was about to happen. So right after the Geraldo event, I swear like 10 minutes after I get in the house, I text my father, and I put it on Twitter 3 weeks ago. I said, look, before you see anything on the news, I don't know if it's going to be there, but I was yelling at the media, I was talking intellectually, I was talking intelligently, but very aggressive. And he literally texts back like, huh? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And I didn't know it went viral until I walk in the barber shop the next day, and Lemon is sitting there. I walk in and they get quiet, and Lemon like, yo, Kwame, you made World Star. And that's how Lemon talk. And for me, I didn't know what that meant. Like, I was like, cool. I was like, damn, I still got to go to work today.
And the crazy thing, I was there when so, you know, like I know a lot of dudes around there, and this is a funny thing, and I always mess with him about it. So while he's fussing with Ronaldo, it's like other dudes that want to talk, but he's like blitzing them. And so the dudes at the Avenue was about to kick Kwame ass. And who the fuck is this dude? Why is he here? He's around here. We ain't talking for us. So Kwame ran to the Ronaldo video. He got his ass out of there. And it was crazy because we was already past curfew. So it was like crazy. It was like the whole corner. It was like literally like a circle around there. And they were just going back and forth. He punched you, didn't he?
No,
he mushed you.
You talking about the night after the Geraldo video?
Right. No, he got.
I ran into my car.
He got
dragged away. I seen guns and everything.
Did y'all ever see the funny photos of him with the wife when his lips are real chat? And he's getting arrested. Google it.
It's in the, first of all, this is why I say Mike is still a cop. It's in a police group message. They photoshopped the photo.
Yeah, they made him look like Tyrone Biggums on the.
I was in dire need of medical help. I was dehydrated. But so my question is like, how did it feel the morning like after your picture blew up? Like, how did being like viral feel for you?
All right, like when I first took the picture, I didn't think nothing of it. You know, like my process is very different. Like this is probably why I'm not accepted into the photojournalism world, because I shoot my pictures and I send them straight to my phone and I post live. So, you know, when you in the moment, you feel it. Now that I think about it, this was probably the dumbest shit that I ever did. I took the time picture while the police are running, and I was like, I think it's kind of dope. I sent it to my phone. I sent it to my phone. By the time I looked up at the police officer, like right in my face. I was like, all my shit was about to get broke. But when I took the picture, I just kept shooting, right, and I posted it, and I posted another picture. So then my mother called me and was like, hey, you still around that protest? And I was like, yeah, I'm about to leave soon. She was like, cool, because your daughter's getting on my nerves. Come get her. Like, she had a whole bunch of sugar. She jumped on the phone. I'm like, all right, I'm going to come get her. I'm on my way now. I was lying. I just kept shooting. Like, she good. She probably go to sleep anyway after the sugar rush. So I just kept shooting. She called me back, like, you know how my mother is. My mother's very intelligent, you know, very smart, works for the FBI. You know how my mother is, Jarrell. But she hood. She's from Park Heights. So that Park Heights came out of her. So she called my phone again. Said, where you at? I said, I walked to the car now. It was a long walk. She said, you motherfucking lie. I see your ass on CNN. Why the fuck is you so close? You know, back your ass up. So I'm on the phone fussing and I'm taking pictures like, oh, Mom, I'm good. You know, and then like I make fun of her because she was like really cussing me out the whole way home. And I'm like, Mom, I'm coming from downtown. You know, I live in Catonsville. It's gonna take me a minute. So it was just funny because it's like, National, I'm so glad you didn't come. I'm glad you lied to me. I'm glad you didn't come home. But when I let her picture at time, when they first called me, I got smart with them. Because like I was shooting, they call my phone like from a block number. That's the first thing. It's either a bill collector or it's a girl playing on my phone. Block number, that's what I think. Somebody playing on my phone. So they called her, hey, you want to speak to Devin Allen? Who's this? She's like, hey, it's Paul Moakley and Olivier. Like, Olivier? She's like, yeah, we're from Time. Time what? Like, Time, maybe you want to talk about what's going on in Baltimore. I'm like, yeah, all right. So I really got smart with it. They're like, no, we're serious. I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah, you want to talk about your work. So the crazy thing, they never told me I had the cover. They said, you might get the cover. And then I just woke up and they just tweeted it, you know, like an amateur photographer gets the, and I was at work, you know, getting my clients dressed. I just bawled, like cried. I called my mother, like, Mom, I got the cover of Time. All I heard was the phone drop, like, dude. And I just heard feet, like, I just heard screaming in the background. And she was crying. It's crazy because it's like, you know, like my family, like, we went through everything. We were really like from Baltimore. So we went through like the heroin addicts in our family. You know, we went through like some hard times losing cousins. One of my cousins just came home from 11 years. My sister did.
Is that the cousin from last night?
Which one was that?
Snapchat?
Snapchat.
Snapchat video. You were sending me the snap. You were showing me the Snapchat video.
Oh no, that's a crazy. That's my other homeboy. Yeah, I got another homeboy that don't know how he used Snapchat for the wrong reasons. But you know, like my sister did 4 years. She did 4 years and came home. So like just to have, you know, it means more to them than me. You know, and that's probably like the biggest thing is like my family, like my grandmother. You walk into her house, like it's kind of creepy, but she got all the cutouts and shit from the sun paper, from everything just cut out and framed. Like she be tripping. Like my grandmother went and bought a tablet and Facebook. That's why if y'all hit me on Facebook, I'm not rude. I don't get on there because my family is on there and they comment on everything. So I don't get on Facebook. They do, don't they? That's my boy.
They comment more than Shorty? I said they comment more than Shorty?
No, Shorty just tag you and everything. Yeah. But
if you friends with Shorty on Facebook, you know what we talking about.
You join the underground, that's what it's about.
But no, all right, so,
I got a question for you.
yeah.
So,
You buying it?
oh, yeah, he got a check. He got a check recently too. When you talk, when you buying it, man. But that's got a question because, like, you know, we come from different backgrounds. So, like, you be hanging like he comes down City of God. You hang around like some serious dudes. I don't know if you know how serious some of those dudes are.
Yeah.
Like, you hanging around some showing up, like real dudes. So it's like you come into a environment that you're not used to, even in the instance of you know, coming on Pennsylvania Avenue, a place that, you know, you're not from. You know, it's a little bit easier for me because I know people in the neighborhoods and I grew up with some of them. You know, how do you feel, you know, when you get looked at as kind of like even like the instance with your mural? You know, even though we, you know, like I vouch for you know, certain people, you know, like Lemon and Sherry and other using the hood vouch for you. Like, how did it feel like when you got that mural up and the community kind of resented it? They didn't feel like you deserved it because you wasn't one of them, you wasn't from there, despite all the work that you were trying to do. You know, because you got the mural pretty early before everything else. Before people really get to understand who you are. Like, I know you, but they didn't know you. So, you know, like, I told you, like, some of the gang members were mad and upset about the mural. Like, how did that make you feel that you're, you know, we're fighting the same struggle for the same thing, for the same reason? Just the fact that you come from a different background, they don't know you, that they felt like you were basically, that you wasn't, like, really a part of it. Like, how did that make you feel?
So, interestingly enough, Baltimore is so small that everybody you know knows somebody that you know. So, I first moved down Sewebo, Highland Street Market, in like 2013. My father was like, yo, it's only one. I came back home. I was never home. I would come back. It was like a hotel for me. And he was like, yo, it's only one room in this house for one grown-ass man, and that's me. And so he put me out. So I moved down Sewebo, found this nice loft. And it just so happened my uncle went to school with Lemon. So Lemon was the first person from the neighborhood I knew. So when I met Lemon, and you know how Lemon is, like Lemon is this ball, he's like the best ball in Baltimore City. Don't go to him, you gotta go to him early in the morning, because when he's drunk, he's gonna push your line like
Natty Bulls to hang your hair. That's why I don't get handcuffs no more, because he like slipped, he messed mine up, drinking Natty Bulls.
But Lemon introduced me to Toga. And so when I first got around there, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, in times, in high school, I was the nerdiest guy, like, glasses. So you hate it. But, Lemon introduced me to Toga. Toga, like, really, like, introduced me to everybody, and his word was good around the way. And he introduced me to everybody. He, like, everybody was like, yo, yeah, you good. Like, I was around the hood every day. At that time, I was involved in other elements at the time. Especially on a day like today. But he really, I was in the barbershop every day, like, just hanging with people. And even now, it was funny because when Toga wound up like leaving. He was like, yo, I see somebody like you who don't act like they from around here, but just want to like be around love. He was like, yo, that inspires me. I was going to work every day from like 2:45 to 11. I worked at the Marriott, like I was a bellman and a doorman, and so I was like, I was really trying to like do good, move up in corporate America. And he was like, yo, and I seen Toga yesterday for like the first time in like 8 months. This man went from like being on the streets every day, like drunk, high up. This man got 3 jobs now. And
Three jobs, and he's a manager in one.
Yeah, and and all like that overnight. But I bought some cameras around the one time, and they was just like, yo, and I was like, yo, come do this interview with me. It's right when everything first happened. They was just like, nah, yo, like, I respect everything that you doing. And you the person that can talk for a lot of us who can't talk on camera because we in our situations trying to live. And because you in your position, like, you can talk. And I respect that because you never tried to be one of us. So when I go to the barbershop, of course, we get joked on a lot, both of us, because now you artsy as hell. Like, but like it's just something like I accept. Like, you know, I know like I'm not from the hood. I never try to portray like I am from the hood. But the hood is the most comfortable place I feel safe. Like when I tell you it was off-duty police officers outside my house ready to kill me, I'm serious when I tell you it was community. It was the thugs and the criminals who was just like, no, he with us. Y'all going home. Matter of fact, wait outside for 20 minutes. And then, because you was in the restaurant when it happened. Y'all wait outside for 20 minutes and then you can leave. Like, I really watch, like, thugs and criminals risk their freedom and their life when off-duty police officers try to take me. So I don't ever try to portray like I'm the toughest dude in the world. Like, I just try to be, when I'm in that community, I know my role, I know my position. That's home to me. I go there, I joke in the midst of the thugs and the criminals. They treat me like what I am, and that's really what I am, and I treat them like what they are. Some of them is the toughest dudes I know in this world. But I also know that they really like built like a Pop-Tart. They soft in the middle. Like they fathers, they take care of the community, they give back, they do everything that I try to do. But I know I'm in a different position in which I can use my platform to help change the living conditions so that they don't have to risk their lives every day being on the street.
Another question. This is something that's been bothering me for a while. How do you feel about people that they just fake? You know, they do these interviews, they do these panels, they walk around, they go to protests, and they make it seem like they're doing so much for the community that they really down for the cause, and they really about, you know, Black Lives Matter, they really about these things, and they're just fraudulent. How do it make you feel, you know, I'm not saying no names, but you can say some names, but how do you feel about people who basically make bank off the movement? It's like they either making money, taking donations, and then making bank, and they're not giving nothing back, or they just using it to get their certain type of fame off the movement. Then you got people that's really on the ground, really trying to make change, but the people that we get outshadowed by them, and because they're doing the most, we're really doing the work. How does that make you feel when you see people like that? You know, and like me, I had this thing where, you know, like for instance, what's going on like with Sean King and all that, the stuff that's going on with him supposedly stealing money and everything else. When they bring him up, you automatically bring up Black Lives Matter. But you, as an activist, I kind of don't like speaking down unless it's like if it's like, you know who I don't like. Like, I tell you, don't bring them up around me. Like I tell you, but yeah, but that's between us. But on a public standpoint, how do you feel in like on being on hush when you know things? Should you bring those things to light? Like this person is fake, they're fraud, they're not who they say they are. But you don't want to, you know, kind of destroy the movement or the momentum of the movement or tarnish it.
So I mean, so for me, like, I lost a lot this year. Like whether it's monetary, like my house, my car, whether it's like I lost family, like I'm cut off, like completely. But what I lost most that I thought was like valuable to me was like the close friends. I bought this big loft, spiral staircase, a whole extra bedroom that I didn't need, and bought a sofa bed just so my homeboys, I would throw like these Great Gatsby house parties, just so my homeboys could like stay on the couch, and it was an extra bedroom, so like everybody could have fun by the end of the night. We wake up the next morning and just laugh about it. And then as soon as when I got fired from Marriott because of the Geraldo video, when I lost everything, them niggas gone. Like, none of them is around them. I don't talk to none of the same homeboys that I had before, and I've known them since I was in 6th grade. And so when we talk about like fake people, I was in the Nation of Islam. 10th grade, I joined the Nation of Islam. I learned something. I'm no longer in the Nation of Islam You know, a lot of my ideology, like Davon, like would force me, like sit me in a room and force me to watch Farrakhan's interview with Donahue when he was getting attacked by the white audience. Like that's how I learned how to debate. But you know, I learned something in the Nation of Islam throughout my time there is you learn something from every person you meet through your path in life. And so it may be people like, I wouldn't be the person I am on Twitter if I didn't know DeRay. DeRay, when he met me, I didn't know how to tweet. I didn't know how to structure my tweets. I didn't know what shifts was. I didn't know what a hotep was. And then DeRay taught me that. But then now, you know, I look at my relation, I'm open about it because I think, yo, DeRay is like taking advantage of a lot of Baltimore. He's making himself get a lot of credit. He's $285,000, right? I lost my $50,000 a year minimum job, you know, because of this Geraldo video. It's a difference. I think it's a difference between living the struggle and talking about the struggle and then trying to appropriate yourself within that struggle. So is it a lot of people? Yeah, and I call them out when I do see them. Russell, I'm very upset. The first time I got arrested, y'all waited a week to arrest somebody who did not do anything and wasn't with us, and y'all gave him publicity, but that's beside the point. Because I still spent my night in jail. But, you know, I mean, and I learned from you, like you surround yourself with people who positive energy. Because if you surround yourself with someone that has negative energy, they can never add to your situation. Their energy is so negative that all they do is take away. So I literally, when I go out now, I bring maybe one homeboy, because I don't feel like catching an Uber out there. And I know you be too lit to take me all the way back. So, like, when I go, we go, and I'm literally, like, I hang with you, and, like, I surround myself with people who I know have my best interest at heart and my like-mindedness, but also understand my situation. I'm no way in there. I may be popular around the country. People may know me. I may be on all types of medias endorsing Bernie Sanders and everything and being a surrogate for him. But I am more broke than I have ever been in my entire life. And that's something you understand. That's something that we only you and I could understand of being like, people see us on TV and be like, yo, I think them niggas must got money. It's nights I buy drinks. It's nights you buy drinks. And it's nights when we buy our own drinks and it's like, nah, I ain't got it tonight. But who you vote for mayor? So this is an interesting story. So if you watch the Geraldo video in its entirety, not just the 2-minute and 34 clip, and I talk about how, like, I feel about the who you voting for. I'm trying to explain to you, my brother. Shit. So the Geraldo clip would have never happened if Catherine Pugh, I've known Catherine Pugh for 3 years. Catherine Pugh pulled me to the side and she said, I need you to take your ass in the house. Like, straight up. She said it like, I need you to take your ass in the house, and I don't want you to get locked up. I was like, no, I'm a grown-ass man. Ain't nobody telling me to go in the house. And then Geraldo walks up and interrupts that conversation. And that's when I go off. I'm like, yo, don't disrespect her like that. But, and even I'll tell you this story. I was, it was March 12th after I had just beat my court cases. I had Ken Ravenoff for my attorney. Any of you know who Ken is? He is the best attorney in Baltimore City. Like, even he was like, look, you might go to jail. He was scratching through my through his jail, through a suit to find me a card. So I go to and I beat it. So I go to the casino to celebrate. You know how I do when I get too happy. I go drink and I'm about to go gamble. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Catherine Pugh calls me, and she's like, Kwame, where you at? I'm like, I'm in the casino, I'm having a good time, we celebrating, I'm good. She's like, no, go home. I'm like, all right, I'm about to leave. So I didn't leave. 30 minutes later, Kwame, where you at? I'm leaving now, I'm about to walk out, let me cash out. She's like, I told you I had to go home. Hangs up the phone, I lie to you not. Within 30 seconds, somebody said, we're gonna escort you out here, sir. So I'm voting for Catherine Pugh. Because I know she will not let me lose all my money at the roulette table. So for you, like, I know I had the mentoring program, which I've never received a grant in my life. It all came out of through our pockets. And you do a lot of work with the youth, Safe Zone. I know you're making millions of dollars from doing your work with the youth. And that's why I'm hanging with you, really, for the money. But do you ever feel like you're being tokenized? Like people don't take you seriously because of how authentic you really are as an individual, as an activist, as an artist, as a photographer. Do you feel like people like try to get over on you and make you a token rather than a person?
Yeah, all the time. That's why if you see me, I'm very picky about panels that I do, who I interact with, because I don't watch people that I have helped, through this journey, and I've watched people attach themselves to me, and I thought they were my friends, and I brought them into my home, around my family, and they was all, once they got to the person they really wanted to get to, it was adios, and, that stuff hurt. Like I'm a very spiritual person, so like, if I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, like I tell people all the time, I'm not a superstar, I'm a regular person. If you walk down the street and see me, speak. People are like, oh, that man, they might take a picture. Like, speak. I'm a regular person. Like, I'm not a superstar, I'm not nothing. I'm still the same kid, running through West Baltimore. And a lot of people don't take me seriously because I'm from Baltimore and I think I'm so passionate. They're like, oh, they think like, oh, he should do that. That's what he should do. And everybody think I have it, and I don't. People better realize that I sold my own camera equipment, to get more cameras. People better realize that me being an amateur photographer, I couldn't even get a sponsorship. I was told that Fuji told me my work was negative to my face. And I asked a well-seasoned veteran photographer from Magnum, like, why would they say that? I thought my work was good. I just, like I'm their top shooter right now. I got the cover of time. He's like, did you get you black? I was like, what? He's like, you're black. You have no paper. You have no degree. They don't care. I was like, well, what? I was like, what should I do? What do I do? Then he was like, what do you do with the time cover? Tweet it. I tweeted about it, and my guy Joe from City Paper, fuck Fuji. You don't use it. So I had to sit there and like really, had to go buy all these lenses. Had to, because at the end of the day, because I can't be a sellout. Everything that I do is for the city. I don't think people understand. Like, people call me a sellout for work for Under Armour. People better realize I could go anywhere and work. I had a lot of job offers, but all them offers would have took me away from Baltimore. I wouldn't be able to be sitting here talking to y'all, probably be somewhere else shooting. And the thing is, like, I'm the first to do a lot of things, but it's like people don't understand like the struggle behind being the first to do a lot of things. And being black at that. That's why I tell people, like, when people say, I love your work, and I say thank you, it means a lot. It really means a lot, because at the end of the day, people don't know, like last year doing an uprising, I was in a 3-car accident. I damn near gave up. I literally got my car one day, crashed it again. Like I really went through, like, people talk about depression, I really was there. I had a nervous breakdown through all this, trying to juggle a job, take care of my daughter, dealing with personal stuff, and still trying to make sure I do right by landing the time cover and doing every panel that I can. I burn myself out. People don't understand those things and don't see those things, and people don't, and the sad part about it, they don't care,
So, all right, so I know Devin is the person that introduced me to the Crown, which is like, if you're a black activist, all the hipsters will buy you a drink.
Yeah, the Crown is lit.
So besides us, no, really, it'd be nice if I go on the Crown just to dance, no money in my pocket.
No, did y'all see that video I put on Twitter? Please, if you go to my Twitter page, and he talk about he dancing, go to my Twitter page, and go to my media link and look at this picture, and you see, just go look. He's the Carlton of Baltimore. Just go look. It's on my Twitter.
Before you,
I'm gonna post it again right after this, and I'm gonna make sure I take that picture.
Playing the song too fast, we was in a tight enclosed space, so my movements was limited. But besides, like, every night, we go out to Rec Room every Tuesday, we down the Crown every Friday and Saturday, unless it's like some punk rock shit. What else do you do to take care of yourself?
Me? Like, I lost my mind a long time ago. Oh, you got the video. See, I saw that last, he got the video. Yeah, go check that out, make that go viral. Kwame Rose. So you think you can dance. But I want people to understand being an activist is not something, you don't just wake up and say I'm an activist. You're not born to be an activist. It's something that you kind of step into. You just being here today is a form of activism. Activism is an everyday thing. Little things you can do to make change is activism. Everyone's an activist in their own. you know, but being like an activist and diving in head first like we did, it's very stressful because you're constantly, I don't know how we didn't get any drunk videos posted of us yet, how turned up we get.
We do. We both have Snapchat.
But that deleted.
You posted my video last night.
Whatever. But, you know, what kept me sane, surprisingly, I was born a Christian. You know, my family was like hardcore Baptist. Like, we used to like sing in the choir and all that. So I got all like the weird pictures with the little robes and stuff on. But then we was Christian, you know, it never really resonated with me. But what got me through the uprising was I found Buddha. So I've been studying Buddha, meditating, you know, learning about my chakras, my energy, you know, and just, you know, vibing that way. You know, that's what really kept me sane, you know, finding my own spirituality and finding myself. You know, that's what really kept me sane. A lot of whiskey and meditation.
Yeah, I mean, Devin is, if you ever let somebody bump into you at the bar, after y'all have about 4 rounds, Devin is the perfect person to have your back. I will tell you that. I watched this man empty a Corona bottle on the floor, and I had to pull it out of his hand.
Listen, let's talk about that. I want people to understand, yes, I'm from Baltimore, I have my moments, and look.
The West Baltimore came out of him so quick.
If you're my friend, I'm that ride or die friend. You know, I will ride for you to the end, and that's just how I am. And somebody was getting kind of crazy, I had to protect myself. That's all it was. Protection.
So at this point, we can open it up for Q&A. If y'all want to ask questions, don't be scared. Like
yeah, keep it real. You see, we're very comfortable up here. We keeping it 100. Y'all see, this is not Devin Allen. My nickname around the city is Moody, so y'all getting Moody right now. This is the real me. In my rare form, this is like me every day. My real thing. That's what I'm saying like this.
First off, Kwame, I don't know if you remember back last year when I was back to get your bullhorn, and you would put me up on the back of the truck and all that. You know, like, I appreciate that so much because that helped me to grow. Before any of the stuff happened last year, I had, you know, gone out and started doing more activism. Once again, like you said, I didn't plan on it. I plan on being a medical doctor, you know, and now I do public speaking and different things, and I love y'all energy because you gave me a chance, you know, like, I was like, man, I'm going to go up and speak at City Hall and push to the crowd, and wasn't on a roster and spoke, and I mean, I understand where it's coming from. You're probably the realest one, really the realest teacher, the realest people I see here in Baltimore. And I'll say that out loud. And I not only social media, but I talk to all y'all as much as I can. And I just wanted to say, like, as far as Kwame with your Black Excellence Foundation, how did you get that implemented, like, you know, like you have like framework and stuff like that. What did you do to get that
Well, thank you for that. If anybody ever seen me like at protests like back last year, I would like, when I noticed the camera was rolling, I would run away from the camera, like walk away with the bullhorn, because the Geraldo video got sold for a lot of money that I could not get. I had no access to that money. But I will say, you know, like Black Excellence was an idea that I had back in college. So when I found out I was black in 8th grade, like I was getting called a nigga, like I became that black friend that you gotta explain to other friends, like, yo, he really black. So freshman year at college, there I hung out with 2 of my best friends that I've ever met in my life. My freshman year at college was wild. And I think I did more things than go to class. But I had this other friend who was like also pro-black. He was like Huey, I was like Malcolm. And but we was like the only 2 pro-black people. At that time, nobody wanted to be pro-black until Trayvon Martin died. And now all you smell is shea butter at protests. So yeah, Black Excellence was just this T-shirt design that I had came up with. It was where I would like take pictures and put Black Excellence in the capital and then ints. And then it would just send messages. But then nobody wanted to do it. It would just be shirts I wore of myself. And then when this all happened, I think it was Jamal Bryant that was just like, you keep getting locked up in other people's shit. You need to make your own shirt. And so I made well, he didn't say shit, I'm sorry. I said shit. I was paraphrasing. Bless the pastor. But so you know, the day I got out of Central Bookings the first time, I called my team up. My team like really had to, I'm thankful to have like people that I met, cause I did music before this. So people that I met in that realm, you know, they really helped me gather around, they helped me create my website, helped me like find editors to write, you know, edit my blogs and help me get on different platforms for writing. And they were just like, I was just like, yo, I need to start wearing my own t-shirt. And I was just like, I gave them this design, they created the logo, but then I wanted to transition it because I fell into it. You know, people thought I had a lot more money than what I had. And so, you know, the nonprofit that I helped start, there was a lot of internal beef around it. You know, egos get involved, and, you know, people think, you know, when you're on TV all the time, people think you really got more than what you got. And so I always wanted to teach young people. Music for me was like an escape. Like listening to J. Cole, Premeditated Murder for 2 months straight, like inspired me to wake up every morning at 4:30 in the morning to go and like go to work until 11 p.m. from 6 in the morning to 11 p.m. every day, just so I could have enough at 19 to like put a down payment on my own car and get my own car without no cosign. Like I wasn't hopping out the shower for $10 an hour, no more. And so I always wanted to teach young people music, like advocacy through artistic expression. And so my idea with the V Foundation is basically to teach young people not just how to use their talent to like be comfortable enough to express themselves through artistic expressions, but also teach them how to make money, teach them how to market themselves, because it's somebody that's better than Kanye West that didn't know how to market themselves or didn't know how to be that arrogant, that didn't make it. And so my goal is to like teach young people. So when I envisioned the Black Excellence, it was basically to like provide grants for young people to like help them not only train them in their course, but also hook them up with like a mentor that could teach them like the business side of everything. And so, but one group that has been very helpful to me for like getting all the legal stuff handled has been Maryland Volunteer Lawyer for the Arts. They've helped out. Adam runs that nonprofit. They actually gave me an award back in December for Activist of the Year. It was my first award. It was like my first like being an activist at an open bar. I had a really great time with those lawyers. Lawyers drink a lot of whiskey, but it was a really great time, and you know, I just been finding people who like really just want to help out the cause.
So I think you guys make a great duo, and what you said earlier, that you're very spiritual and you're kind of a straight shooter, just from your mind, something out of your mouth, and I think you need a lot of that today because there are a lot of filters on things, a lot of illusions out there that make you believe that things are happening, change is happening, and really the thing happening even closer. So I guess I wonder, you're very spiritual, and you kind of said to Kevin Davis that you believe the system is kind of set up perfectly. And I often read this with yin yang because you're very positive and optimistic. And you face the reality that there are people who think that it could make a difference and they're not, which you do for a reason. And I mean, even Kevin Davis, at the end of the day, he could be with the face of the police department so that doesn't say one day goodbye, you know, you know the problem. So I wonder how you guys have been joking about how you've gone kind of not self-medicating, but doing things to release stress. And how do you deal with the reality that like things aren't changing fast enough? He's talking about stuff that's like research. Research says it's getting like threats that everyone, you know, even as a Black police officer, you're going to deal with microaggressive comments, and you're going to deal with microaggressive stress, and, you know, how are they protecting people that come forward? There are a lot of real questions that kind of translate into policy. So when you look at the reality that's like, it shouldn't be a 30-year later conversation, and as a leader, as these leaders in place, they're not doing enough. Like I see you put that pressure in, and Devin, you're like very spiritual, and I am too, and I believe that there's light and dark, and it's all for a reason, and we're running through it all. Like, what is the plan? Like, I mean, I guess sometimes how do you stop yourself from being so long-term thinking and that can be defeating? Like, how do you keep yourself in the moment to think that what you're doing is enough? Because it is overwhelming for us to feel very connected to everything happening. Like, it's overwhelming. Some of us do have to distance ourselves. Some of us do feed into the illusions of what we just feel good about ourselves. But
I try not to think too much about it. You know, like, I'm here for a purpose. You know, like, long term, I already know why I'm here. You know, like, I found my color. A lot of people go through life and they never know, you know, what they're here for. You know, I found my purpose. You know, my purpose is I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know, like, I'm here to be the best photographer of my generation. You know, that's why I took the job. I know I'm going to continue to grow. But I'm also here to be a beacon of light for the next generation to show them that how powerful art really is. So regardless of the stress, I've been through hell and back already. I done seen people get shot. I've been locked up. CDS violations back in 2009. You can look it up. You know, anytime I tell people like they always go look at, oh, he really was locked up. Yeah, I was. You know, I beat my child. I had them. We was put on me. But stress, you know, I just like me. I just go with the flow. I try not to worry too much. You know, I just don't worry about it. I don't even, you know, like I know why I'm here. You know, I'm just living through the universe that they give me. I just make it happen. You know, like I said, Baltimore made me full tough. I'm strong. So it's like when people talk shit about me or I don't get this grant, I don't get this, I don't get that, I don't care. You know, some people might go off and, you know, commit suicide, but I'm way, way stronger than that. You know, Baltimore birthed me for this. This is my color. This is why I went through what I went through, and that's why I'm here. But it's going to be a long-term battle. You know, because I'm not here. I'm not fighting for them now. You know, like that's why I'm planting seeds inside Jamal and all those other young kids. I'm planting seeds that's going to grow later down the line. I don't care about now. You know, like my life is like, it's already written in stone. This is what you're here for. You know, you're the eyes of Baltimore, so be that. You know, so what I do is I just use what I have and plant those seeds. So the next generation is going to be 10 times stronger than me. Because you can kill me, but you can't kill that dream. And that just is what it is. If you kill me, I'm going to pop up 10 more stronger. I guarantee you by the time I'm done, it's going to be Baltimore, Sun, the city going to be taken over by the black youth that I'm teaching now. And I put that on everything. They're going to run, I'm trying to tell you, I want to believe it. You know, these kids, they're faster, they're smarter, they're stronger, and they're seeing things way younger. You know, I got a kid that's 9 years old that sells dope, that hit out the hole, but he want to take pictures now. I gave a camera to a boy named Deshaun, and his house got raided. You know, I met him through the dude Noah. Noah was like, yo, this kid needs a camera. And I was like, all right, I just got a camera. Matter of fact, is she here? She said she was coming. She's right there. She gave me a Nikon, you know, and I called Noah. I said, go. I told Noah, he knows like this little white guy. He's a photographer, always in the community. He's mad cool. He couldn't find it, so I went and got some of the kids. Like, yo, go find Deshaun for me. My kids was like, oh, you want to take us to McDonald's? All right, you know, I got you. They went and found my, I gave them a camera. You know, next thing I know, I see a picture on Instagram that his house was being raided or something. I seen him next day, like, yo, you good? I saw what happened. They ain't take your camera. No, I made sure I still got it. You know, that's what I'm like, his homeboy in the back who take amazing pictures of it, I don't know him. He's like on the ground, like really, you know, he inspires me. You know, he another one who just got a camera recently do the uprising, take amazing pictures. So it's just like, at the end of the day, we planting them seeds. We changing, we giving hope. You know, like growing up in the hood, we don't have too much hope. It's like this little, you know, if it's 10 dudes on the block, you know, and this is real. 10 dudes on the block, 5 of them gonna die, period. 3 of them probably go to jail. 1 might end up being a junkie and 1 might survive. And that's what we face, and that's real. I know. I had homeboys overdose. I got homeboys that's 22 years old, addicted to Percocet, nodding out, finked out. You know, at the end of the day, that's what keeps me pushing. So at the end of the day, I could be one of them, but I'm not. So I have to keep pushing, and that's where my drive comes from. That's why I don't quit. You know, like Kwame say, I'm broke. Y'all don't want to see my bank account right now. You know how you see, like, I spent this much, I know I got this much left. And then you get there, and then it's like, oh, shit, you forgot about tax and everything else. But, you know, like, at the end of the day, I can be dead, broke, and have nothing, but at the end of the day, the hood love me, and that's all that matters.
For me, it's, well, I'm not. Clap for him because he didn't win the Pulitzer Prize yesterday, so he deserves another clap. But what is it, Pulitzer?
I wasn't even nominated.
But so for me, I'm not gonna lie. Like me personally, I'm young. I'm 21. I'm a college dropout. I'm open. I'm honest. I have no I don't want to play the system. I won't play along to get along at all. So a lot of people through this last year have like
aggressively tried to take advantage of me. It's been situations where like I was offered a TV deal by Vice back in like last year when all this first happened, and then they wanted to whitewash my whole idea, like it was white people telling me how to talk to report about black issues. And I was like, nah, fuck it, I don't even want to do it. Like, and so like, do I get stressed? I get like depressed out. Y'all be depressed all the time. But and it's the one activist from Cleveland who killed himself, committed suicide on the steps. And he said, today my demons won. And the way I don't let my demons win, because I have a lot of dark thoughts. I lost a lot in this last year, like personally, and so the way I don't let my demons win is first of all, I hang around people who have positive energy, who want to see me do better. But then also, like, it's a lot of naysayers as well. So one piece of advice that I got was from somebody who's been through the spotlight, had their name dragged through the dirt. Someone I consider like a second father and a spiritual advisor. He said, yo, it's not about what people think about you or what it is that you even do in life. It's about the legacy that you leave. So it's about how these young people remember you. And Tupac said it best, I'm not going to change the world. But if I can inspire the 2 or 3 minds that will, then I can die in peace. I done had 3 of my mentees killed. My one mentee who went he was 16, got shot in the head, really great at basketball. I can live in peace and keep being inspired to do the work that I want to do, because I know that I'm one of the people who made sure this was one of the few young men from his type of living conditions that got to go see the White House before he died. He lived his life for his purpose. I don't know when I'm going to die. I don't know when my time is going to end, so I try to get everything on my goal, on my list, accomplished in that one day. So I know when my time comes, I know that my legacy personally has been fulfilled, and I hope that it leaves a mark on the young people that I came in contact with.
It's all said and done, right? Stories with, but you still live it. It's the opportunity to read the story that somebody thinks about you. What aspect of your life do you look forward to most?
Damn. That's tough, because like a lot of people, they only want to, analyze, the success, and I think my biggest success was making it, still being able to, survive in the trenches, still be able to, still, walk around Baltimore with, most people leave. I want people to highlight the fact that at the end of the day, I didn't let none of this go to my head. None of this went to my head. My man Frazier just walked in. This is the guy who helped me get into photography. Frazier from City of God. When everyone told me like taking pictures would never get me anywhere, my friends made fun of me. You can't get you nowhere. I was made fun of. I was cracked on therapy. I had no support. This guy, his father was a photographer. Was your father or your grandfather? His father was a photographer. He brought like all this equipment in one day. Was like, yo, you can really do this. Like, look, this is my father's stuff. Da, 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 da. He would let me shoot inside the store. I did my first photo shoot down there. And those are moments that I want people to remember. Not just, the success, but all the steps leading to that and all the support that I had from this city. This city where they only look at it as negative, but I have gained so much and learned so much positive things from being in this city. It's one of the realest cities, and I've recently been around the world, and this is the realest city. Like, I probably never leave. I don't plan on never leaving. Because at the end of the day, that's what's wrong. The people make it out of Baltimore, they don't come back. Or they think just giving a little bit of money here and there is the key. When people see your face, when they can reach out and touch you, that's what changes lives. Money only can do so much. So I think my biggest thing is how I thrive, and how I survived, and how I made it in Baltimore. I made it in Baltimore, and I made it in Baltimore. And I think that's probably the most thing I want people to
to pay attention to. We got, I think that dance video is probably the most memorable moment. They was in that picture Mike just showed them, and that's why they was laughing during the question.
The moment what I want to be most remembered is that I've been offered a lot of opportunities. People always come at me young. They're like, well, you need to go back to school or you need to do this. But I think in this last year alone, I've been able to accomplish so much. Like, I'm probably the youngest person who writes for Mashable.com. I've been able to meet so many different people from Trayvon Martin. We met Trayvon Martin's older brother at the same time. I hung out with Javaris. Javaris is really like my big brother now. Like, when I stay in Harlem, I'm staying on his couch. But, what I want people to remember is that throughout this long process, not only because I'm so young that I find myself, but I stay true to myself. And I want to inspire people to know that there's no clear path route. That's the thought I want them to leave people with, is that there's no clear path to success. It's all individualized. I didn't need to go to college to be successful. I lost a full scholarship and I learned what that type of failure meant and how I can gain success through a different route. And I did it by being the same loudmouth, oppositionally defiant, little bad, big-headed kid that I am. And it made a difference. Tens of millions of people through that video. Where though, like, I think I was in Atlanta. And like, I'm just sitting drinking at the bar and people are walking up to me like I'm by myself in the airport. And somebody came up and was just like, yo, you that guy from that video. He was like, yo, you inspired me. Like, even though it's like people who, I stay true to myself, and even though it's people who had a problem with that mural being put up on Lawrence and Monroe, I know when I'm in a barbershop, I know it's like a bunch of little kids. When their fathers bring them up to me like, yo, my son seen your videos, he seen you on TV yesterday, we drove past your mural the other day, and he just wanted to shake your hand. Like, I know it's like people like that, like little kids like that take something away out of all that I've done, and I don't know how to do it perfectly. I just know how to do it by trial and error and learn from my own mistakes. And so I just want to leave the imprint with people that you can be successful by just being yourself and being happy and content with that.
We got room for 2 more questions. He had his hand up and then he had his hand up. So we're gonna do. Can we do 3 long? Kwame like to talk. We want to give him short answers.
I know you is not talking.
All right, so go ahead, boom, and then I'm gonna come with you. Me? I just need a studio. I need a building where, it can just be open to the youth so we can really work, because I'm learning so much for Under Armour. I'm learning how to do graphics, 3D animation, video. I'm learning all these different set skills that I had to go to school for. I'm learning them now. I would love to have a place where I can just sit and create with kids and really they can, in the wintertime, like me, I'm out in the winter. Street photography is my thing. But my kids lazy. Oh, it's too cold, I'm not coming out today. I would love to have a hub where I can just, sit there and just vibe. Just have it open for the public. Come there, vibe, do art shows. Like my bro got one similar. But I need a place where it's like, they just come and create. Hey, I want to just come and create. A place where we can bring in all these mainstream artists. Because they skip over Baltimore. They go New York, DC. Even though they say the DMV, we never been a part of the DMV. Baltimore always been its own entity. I want to make this a mainstream stop. We got everything. I think we're more authentic and better than DC. To be honest, hate DC. To be honest, that is bad. I love my city. My city, all I ask is that genuine support. If you see me walking down the street, I'm a hugger. Give me a hug, something like me having a bad day, just give me a hug. That's all I ask. Simple things, to just keep me pushing. That's all I ask. I just need that love and that support. Well, she gonna need a whole lot. A blowhorn.
Give me my shit back. No, I mean, what I need is basically, because I know in a lot of spaces I have a negative rap, because a lot of people wonder, like, where did I come from? Or, like, that I can't be controlled. And what I need, basically, especially from Baltimore, because I really don't care. I mean, I travel around the country. I've been everywhere. I go everywhere I go, all these new cities that I've been able to go to. I do it talking about Baltimore City and my experiences here and what I learned. But mainly, like, what I need, with the level of, like, I kind of feel like the level of, like, you know, I don't feel as though Baltimore supports Baltimore enough. And I feel that from my own personal experience. So what I need Baltimore to do is, like there's a reason why Baltimore ain't on the map yet. And that's because we always, whenever somebody's trying to travel away and put us on the map, we always pull them down like it's a crab in a barrel. And I need Baltimore to provide support. I get a lot of support from hipsters. But I'm not here for hipsters. They get it already. They be out at protest Black Lives Matter. What I need is like the open ears of the people who I look just like. I'm a reflection of the unengaged as much as anybody else. And I just need open ears and like the chance to tell my story so that you can tell your story and I'll listen to your story. But just the chance to like gain your support and gain like that like unconditional love that I know like we had back in April. It didn't matter who you was, if you were just out there against the police, you was one of us. I need that like more than anything else.
That genuine love is really important. You know, when you're doing positive things, and like this is the truth, when it comes to Baltimore, we support a lot of negativity before we support positivity. So like, you know, if I was a rapper and I was rapping about shooting and killing somebody and selling dope, I would have way more support from the city than I do now. And that's a fact, and I don't care what nobody says about that. Every artist that's doing positive work feel that way, and that's the truth. Because we support negativity. And that's just what it is, you know. Like we just need that support system. So we can start growing. It's like there's nothing wrong with it, but we glorify it. We put all our money behind it. You know, rap song tell our kids go pop perks and sip on lean and go do it. You know, so when we're basically trying to counteract that and fight that. You know, trying to give them tools and change those things. You know, I was once subjected to that. I was caught inside that culture. You know, but the work that we're doing is like it's tough. You know, we don't get the support. But like when you go look at like certain events and certain things that's going on. They will book the hottest rapper who rap about killing people for a youth event. And how you gonna have a youth event if you rap about killing people? Like if you rap about, you know, drinking lean, things that kill you slow, you know, and then you teaching our kids you rap this self-medication thing. So at the end of the day, like you see someone doing something positive, try to support them the most, but 9 times out of 10 they get a lot of support.
Everything that you guys are saying right now resonates with me heavily, because I definitely consider myself from Baltimore. There's certain things that I'm trying to do in my life. I'm a poet, a rapper, do certain things. I'm more of the positive. And so everything that you're saying, I get it 100%. And just to meet other people out there that understand the things that I'm doing, like it's amazing. And I say ever since I started thinking a certain way, I've just been meeting more people that have that certain way. And so I guess my question to you guys is, that's great and everything, but I just feel as though there's one, you fix things, then you have to start doing, you have to start moving. So I guess the question is, what's the next step? What's the next movement that's going to become? What's some of the things you're going to start doing in the future?
In the future, me, I never really follow movement. You know, so like me, I'm completely dedicated to Baltimore. You watch. You know, everyone that you see me around, you say you start to meet people, that's because of the vibration that you're putting out and you're bringing those people to you. And that's just that's what it is. But, you know, movement, you know, don't move on movement. Because the thing is, if you move on movement, you never going to get shit done. It's like you have activists who, you know, when something else happens and the media goes, they go. You know, oh, when Flint jumped off, they was in Flint. When Flint was done, oh, Chicago need me again, I'm there. Ferguson, I'm there. You know, it's about finding your goal, your cause, and then following through. You know, so me, I'm here for the youth. I tell people my activism is working with the youth, and that's something I'm going to keep building better, more cameras, you know, better. I'm going to become a better teacher, a better mentor. As I grow as a person, my program will grow. And then eventually I expanded. I had some kids here from South Africa. Can you send us some cameras? You know, I can't do it right now. Everything Baltimore needs me right now. But in the future, one day, you know, I will be supplying the world with cameras for you. You know, and that's I found my niche. I found what works for me. The universe told me what I need to do, and I'm just going to just keep amplifying my voice to make it happen.
Since I am a spiritualist and optimistic as he is, like what's next for me is like, I mean, I can't speak for the movement because I never protested before Freddie Gray died. I never went out there because I saw a flyer that was like, yo, NAACP is hosting a protest right now, come out. I went out there literally as an individual, and I learned that the power is power inside of individuality and using your voice because it reflects, it resonates with so many people who look just like you and they share the same experiences. So for me, what's next is like continuing the work to build, make sure like I get to make a big impact on young people through, whether it be through my writing, like finishing up. I think D walked it back here. Yeah, if D called me one more time, be like, nigga, you don't write enough. like it's finishing that. It's like becoming a better writer, becoming more confident in like who I am as a writer. I always like had a passion for music. Like that's what Moody always be like, yo, you need to do your music more. Like you don't do that enough. You're just an activist now. Yeah, so like we just finished up an album, so like my album comes out like sometime next month. But like I'm just trying to be like all the things I ever wanted to do, I just want to accomplish them, and whatever I got to do, like whatever role I can do that, I'm trying to accomplish that and so much more.
How do you feel about white people who like they'll come in and they're like, you know, I'm all for the movement, you know, I'm not a racist, but as soon as shit gets hard, the niggas hard.
Wait, what would you say, Baltimore what?
Your Baltimore's version of Donald Trump.
Why would you come up with that? You could have gave me like J. Cole or something.
No, hold on, before he answered that question, who watched Recess?
No, do not do that.
Who did he look like from Recess? The snitch, right?
Yo, Huey Freeman, Questlove looking at. No, so you know, when the protest first happened, like I can tell you, like I'm like strictly Malcolm X. Like I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. My favorite movie is that 3.5 hour long Malcolm X movie where like white people think Denzel is Malcolm. But I was strictly like, when this all first started, I was strictly like, yo, white people can support us, but they can't join us. This is all black. And then I realized, you know, white people got something called privilege. And no, you can use that shit. And like, so like use it. And so I've been able to meet like white people, and I also believe like, you know, because I met a lot of people from around this world. Like I met somebody, she's black, she's from Grenada. But she was telling me she never got called black until she came to America. Like I was like, so what are you doing with white people? She was like, they just Caribbean. A little undercooked, but they Caribbean. And so I realized like we think of like race and white people in the context of like the Western society and Eurocentricity and through white supremacy. But I also realized that it's a whole world that's bigger than that. But in this context of where I'm at, if white people got white privilege, I make sure like the white people who say they down for it, yo, I'm gonna make sure they down for it, use that privilege in spaces I can't gain access into, hold them accountable when I can't.
Like the shit out of Mike.
Yeah. Mike is incredible. He's got cop privilege and white privilege. But not like
I got some more tickets we need to talk about.
I like the Hillary Clinton rally. I couldn't go to the Hillary Clinton rally because of who I endorsed for president and who I surrogate for president. So I hit up some white people I knew that they knew was protesters, but they never thought that they would disrupt because they wasn't black. And they went, they didn't wear the mask. I wanted them to wear a tiger mask that had a sign that said, I'm a super predator. But they didn't do, they couldn't get the mask in time. But like I use that, you gotta use white privilege. Like privilege is something we don't have access to. So just if you can gain it by befriending somebody that has it, make sure they use it in the best way.
Yeah, and at the same, hey bro, at the same time, this is gonna sound crazy, but I see more black people do that than white people. That you'll be surprised at the people who in our community that come in like they really down and they're not. You know, so I witnessed it. So like now you have to go off a person's energy, how they carry themselves. You gotta really get to know these people, really dig deep, do your research on these people. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I've been around the world. I went to the Philippines and I sat there with a family and they were like, oh yeah, we niggas. That's what, and these are Asians. They feel like the niggas of Asia. That's what they consider themselves. The stuff they go through, similar things as we do. But just the fact that they're darker skin tone, Asians basically, you know, in Asia. So they feel like the niggas of Asia. You know, it's like, it's so many different issues, you know, race, color, religion, all these things. So like me, what I try to do is I just try to judge a person off how they carry themselves. And then once I know how you carry, I play you accordingly. And if I know you good financially to help me, but I know you're not really down to be on the ground, cool, do that. Because I'd rather have you financially. I don't want your ass on the ground if you ain't gonna have my back. You know, so it's like, it's all about playing people. It's like chess. You know, play it, you know, it's chess. That's all it is. If you keep looking at color, you'll miss out on some things, to be honest. You know, what happens is we fight racism, a lot of us become racist. We become the thing that we hate. Yep. I know we're supposed to be done, but she had a question. I'm sorry, I can't deny. I got a baby girl, I can't. She had a question. Yeah, I just got a new job, but every day is reset for me. That was the last question statement. But but I want to thank everybody for coming, listening to us just trip and talk and geek. You know, like, this really feels good. Hopefully, you know, I see some of y'all out and about. We can figure out how we can help each other and what's the next step to fixing Baltimore.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank y'all. Before y'all leave, wanna tell them about the free co-working?
Yeah, sure. So this week and next week we're having free co-working at Impact Hub. So if anybody wants to stop by and use our space, get our Wi-Fi password, please drop by. Thanks again for coming.
Also, I just want to do a few shout outs to Shannon Wallace, whose work is on the wall. She's amazing. Those are also for sale. I also want to, basically promote next week's event, which is happening the same time, same place. It's Judah Adashi, who actually wrote a musical number to Devin's portraits. That'll be happening here at 6 p.m., also free. May 1st, we'll be screening. Nobody's May 1st, we'll be screening Malika Aminata Clements, Not About a Riot, 6 p.m., also free. Thank you.